I evolved from a young eagle and became a rice monster. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 26 Xuan Unscaled Eagle, Big Yellow Dog. Half a month later, deep in the forest, an eagle's cry resounded through the sky and echoed in the forest. Birds and animals trembled in fear and fled in all directions. The hidden cave exudes a terrifying atmosphere. The cold air spreads out of the cave, adding a bit of chill to the hot summer day. There are flowers and plants on the ground, and the surface of the cave is covered with a layer of ice. Race: Xuan Unscaled Eagle. Level: Level 2 and Level 1. Skills: Xuan Heavy Beak, low level. Xuan Heavy Claws, low level. Swift Wind Wings, full level. Divine Perception, full level. Sonic Shock, full level. Bloodthirsty Rage, full level. Cold Air Coverage, intermediate level. Aura Wing Blade, full level. Cold Air Control, low level. System Skills: Eye of Identification, communication with living beings, swallowing the sky and the earth. Pressure of Death, good or bad. Evolution point, 1000/3000. After Bai Xuan advanced to the second level, he gained the power of ice. His skills have also been greatly improved. And ordinary artillery shells no longer pose any threat to Bai Xuan. The Death Gaze has also evolved into Death Coercion, which can cause physical and psychological harm to low-level creatures. There are also obvious changes in appearance and body shape. With a body length of 6 meters and a wingspan of 16 meters, it is simply a behemoth, full of intimidation. The feathers changed from the original white mixed with light blue to light blue all over, and 1/3 of the wings edges gradually turned white. The feet were the same as before, covered with diamond-shaped white scales. The pupils are golden yellow, the beak and talons are pure white, and the whole body is exuding wisps of cold air. Can you master the power of element at the second level? Bai Xuan felt the power contained in the demon core in his body, as well as the cold air, and was surprised. I didn't expect that. After advancing to the second level, I would be able to master the ice attribute. So can every creature master it? Or can some highly talented creatures master it? Or even only you can master it? This issue cannot be verified for the time being, but I believe that it will not be long before more second order creatures appear. Bai Xuan restrained his coldness and shrank his body to the size of an ordinary goshawk. He flew out of the cave and came outside, with the scorching sun shining down on him. Bai Xuan didn't feel hot, but felt a little comfortable, probably because of the coldness in his body. I don't know how Mom and the others are doing. Bai Xuan has changed a lot during this period, not only in appearance and body shape, but also in his heart. I wonder if they will find it difficult to accept his appearance. But after all, he is alive, which is very good. Must be very sad after their death. Bai Xuan thought of this and flew high into the sky towards home. At the same time, humans are also aware of what is happening in the mountains. After all, that terrifying power suddenly erupted, and it was difficult for them not to notice it. 7 days later, Bai Xuan worked non-stop, day and night. Soaring in the blue sky, I saw many scenery along the way. There are also large human settlements, tall buildings, bustling tourist attractions, busy roads, etc. Due to Bai Xuan's small size, it can soar thousands of meters high in the sky, and its feathers are naturally protective, blending in with the sky, making it difficult to be discovered. Coupled with the fast flight speed, it is difficult to detect Bai Xuan's traces with the naked eye. Finally, Bai Xuan flew to the town and looked at the familiar scenes in front of him. Bai Xuan stood on the highest roof and watched for a long time. Finally back, Bai Xuan murmured to himself. After that, he flapped his wings and flew towards the familiar home in his memory. Flying here from the mountains, Bai Xuan has seen many mutated creatures, and there are also soldiers patrolling to protect the safety of the people. Although it has been some time since the mutated creatures broke out. But society is still very stable. Ordinary people can deal with weak mutant creatures by themselves. Stronger ones, such as cats, dogs, pigs and sheep, and other larger creatures, are strictly guarded by soldiers. Prevent these mutated creatures from causing harm to humans. There are many more mutated creatures in the mountains and forests, but they cannot enter the places where humans live. They enter regularly to eliminate some to ensure that everything is under control. Bai Xuan flew all the way and finally stopped on the telephone pole, looking at the 3-story self-built house not far away. There was a big yellow dog tied at the door, lying on the ground and sleeping soundly. The body is much larger than ordinary native dogs, with a shoulder height of 1.3 meters, much larger than large dogs. As its name suggests, the dog has yellow hair all over its body, well-developed muscles, and is extremely strong. Race: mutated native dog. Level: 6th stage of the 2nd stage. It seems that Rhubarb has also evolved. Bai Xuan's tone was filled with relief. Da Huang was very loyal. His guardian was obedient. He would be wary of strangers, and he would do his best to look after the house and the courtyard point, but it will not take the initiative to bite people. After the owner comes out, the human consciousness will no longer radiate hostility, and remember this person, so that it will not bark next time. Point at the same time, the relationship with the neighbors is still very good point. No matter if it evolves, it can protect its family members, increase its lifespan, and live longer. But now that Rhubarb has mutated, and is still alive, and staying at the doorstep, this means that Rhubarb has successfully passed the test. However, in order to ensure safety, you still can't go out and wander around casually, so as not to scare others. There is also a collar around your neck, equipped with cameras and locators, and poisons that can kill you. Once mad, the needle in the collar will penetrate the flesh and inject a lethal poison. Bai Xuan naturally discovered this. For this reason, Bai Xuan did not go towards Da Huang immediately. The camera was a problem and had to be covered to avoid the military's viewpoint. Bai Xuan looked around and found no one, then quietly flew towards Da Huang. Da Huang has a keen sense of smell. He smelled a strange and powerful force coming towards him and stood up in an instant vigilantly. At this moment, I felt a chill on my neck. The camera was destroyed, and the monitor at the door was covered with a rag. Da Huang bared his teeth and roared several times, looking left and right, trying to find the attacking creature. Da Huang, stop barking. It's me, Bai Xuan. Bai Xuan hid under the wooden chair in the corner and covered the side of his body with cardboard to avoid being discovered. After hearing this familiar voice, Da Huang stopped barking instantly. No, you're not Brother Bai. Who are you? Get out of here quickly, or you won't blame me for being rude. It turns out that Da Huang calls himself Brother Bai. For some reason, I came back from the dead, but as an eagle. Bai Xuan explained and talked about a lot of past things, making Da Huang believe his words. Da Huang somewhat believed Bai Xuan's words and asked doubtfully, are you really Brother Bai? If it's true, by the way, that time a few years ago, you went to have a tryst with a B****ch from the next village. Your first wife found you and surrounded you with several dog boys. You were beaten so badly that you were beaten miserably. Fortunately, I was better at that time. I rescued you when I passed by and took you to the veterinarian to bandage your wound. Xiaoya was so anxious that she cried. Bai Xuan felt very warm when he recalled the past. Chapter 27 Talking with Da Huang, Xiaoya and Mom. Stop talking, I believe you. Da Huang felt very embarrassed when he recalled that incident. That time it was really the dog's fault. No matter how brave it was, it couldn't beat 4 hands with 2 fists. It was normal for it to be pressed down and beaten. If Bai Xuan had not passed by that time, Da Huang would have been beaten to death by a group of people and died. Da Huang believed that the blue eagle in front of him was Queen Bai Xuan, and tears welled up in his eyes. Brother Bai, I miss you so much. It's great that you are alive. I thought I would never see you again. Woo woo woo. You're still the same. Da Huang pounced on him and wanted to lick and rub Bai Xuan. But Bai Xuan stopped him with his wings. Sorry for making you worry. By the way, Brother Bai, how did you become like this? Did the King of Hell think that your life should not be cut off, so he asked you to be reborn as an eagle and come back to meet us? You can understand it this way. Bai Xuan nodded lightly. However, Bai Xuan did not see the King of Hell. When he woke up, he became a young eagle. Bai Xuan himself could not figure it out, let alone answer Da Huang's question. I know that Brother Bai is no ordinary person. He is worthy of being my master. He is extraordinary and extraordinary. Rhubarb still has a lot of vocabulary, and after gaining levels, his intelligence improves, and he can speak in one set of words, which is very smooth. But humans can't understand what rhubarb says, or other creatures can't understand it either. Similar people can understand and communicate without any barriers, but Bai Xuan can talk to Da Huang with the help of biological communication ability. Why didn't I see that you were so good at flattering me before? Hehe, I learned it all from you, brother Bai. Da Huang chuckled. He naturally learns by being influenced by his ears and eyes, and Da Huang can understand human speech. It can also simulate some human language, but it is very awkward. Whether it can be understood is another matter. Suddenly Da Huang's stomach growled. Da Huang squatted on the ground, touched his belly, and smiled awkwardly. Brother Bai, why don't you go get me some food? Has your appetite got bigger and bigger after you evolved? Yes. He eats more and poops less. He grows faster and his body size increases dramatically. It scares both Sister Yao and my mother. Da Huang nodded slightly. He didn't know what was going on at that time. He was very hungry and wanted to eat. If a cow passed by in front of him, he would eagerly pounce on it and chew it. But no matter how hungry it is, it will not harm humans. It will only look for food, dig through trash cans, or eat some other creatures, or ask Sister Yao and Mom to get some leftovers or dog food for it to eat. My stomach was growling with hunger. Sister Yao and my mother could naturally tell that, and they were amazed, and gave me a lot more food. After that, several soldiers came and pointed guns at Da Huang. At that time, Sister Yao, Mom and Da Huang were really frightened. After Da Huang went through a series of tests, he was finally safe. The state will also regularly provide rhubarb with food, mostly the flesh and blood of mutated creatures, as well as a small amount of nutritional supplements and dog food, in an effort to keep rhubarb full, so that it will not hurt people due to hunger, and at the same time, reduce the burden on the owner's family. It would be a pity to kill such a loyal dog, but it is very beneficial to cultivate it. Maybe in the future we can cultivate an army of dogs, or other mutant creatures, that are friendly to humans. I see. Then can you move around freely? Bai Xuan actually already had an answer to this question, but he still asked clearly to avoid making mistakes. After all, such a big animal is still a canine. Even if it doesn't eat people, it is not good to scare people, because it can easily cause panic. No, but the country will provide me with food regularly. It's quite delicious. But my appetite is getting bigger and bigger, and some of the food is not enough for me. But fortunately, my application has been successful, and there will be more food in the future. Da Huang shook his head slightly. He was still very satisfied with the current state and understood it. After all, it was already a mutated creature, and would be able to move freely once the testing period was over. It won't run around. Now that there are more and more mutated creatures, it wants to protect its family. Well, by the way, I prepared a good thing for you, Bai. Xuan seemed to have thought of something, and after speaking, he spit out 2 palm-sized pieces of low-grade spirit stones. There were many spirit stones left over from the last evolution, and he planned to give them to Da Huang, Xiaohui, and Huzi. The increased level of rhubarb can better protect his mother and Xiaohui, so that Bai Xuan can go to other places to improve his level and strength with peace of mind. Xiaohui and Huzi will most likely become his right-hand assistants in the future, and they can help a lot when they are trained. What is this? Rhubarb couldn't help but salivate. These 2 spiritual stones were more attractive than those of flesh and blood, but it didn't eat them immediately. You need Bai Xuan's permission to eat it. It's the same as before. Nothing has changed. The spirit stone will be very helpful to you. By the way, don't mention the spirit stone to anyone, so as not to attract people's attention. Bai Xuan explained. No, I'll listen to brother Bai. Da Huang nodded seriously. Eat it. Bai Xuan was amused when he saw Da Huang's impatient and drooling look. He smiled and then let Da Huang eat the spirit stone. Thank you, brother Bai. Brother Bai is so kind to me. After Da Huang thanked him, he swallowed the 2 spiritual stones directly into his stomach. Suddenly there were footsteps on the stairs, followed by a sweet female voice. Da Huang, what are you calling? And what's wrong with the camera on your neck? They called me over there to ask about the situation. Did you break it for fun? Da Huang. Barked twice. I don't know. I didn't break it. Da Huang didn't even notice that the collar around his neck was damaged, but Bai Xuan was too fast, and the camera and earpiece were destroyed in a flash. I broke it. Bai Xuan smiled awkwardly. Brother Bai, you are serious? This collar is really important. It can be broken. It's easy to cause problems. Da Huang complained. Da Huang has seen the lethality of this collar before. Those mutated creatures in the training camp will be killed by the collar if they harm people. If it caused a misunderstanding among the military, Da Huang's life would be in danger, to put it bluntly. Rhubarb's life and death are now in the hands of the military. Well, I can't be discovered. Please understand. At the same time, don't worry. I will only take action when I'm sure. I will never let you die because of this, Bai Xuan explained. Brother Bai, what are your plans next? Da Huang had forgotten that Xiaoya was calling him and continued talking to Bai Xuan. I won't stay longer. It's very unsafe. Also, please protect my mother and Xiaoya and wait until the time is right in the future. Bai Xuan bowed to Da Huang. In Bai Xuan's heart, Da Huang was a family member and worthy of trust. I will never treat Rhubarb badly. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 28. Bai Yao appears and believes in identity. Brother Bai, don't worry. Even if it costs my life, I will protect Sister Yao and my mother. Da Huang knows his mission, which is to protect his family. If you want to harm your family, you must step over your own body. Da Huang was originally a stray dog. After being picked up by Bai Xuan, he ate and drank well. He had already made up his mind to protect his family throughout his life and would never change. Thank you, Da Huang. Bai Xuan smiled. Da Huang, don't pretend you didn't hear me. Did you break the collar on purpose? Bai Ya came to the first floor, looked at the rhubarb at the door, and shouted angrily. When Da Huang heard this, he wanted to cry, but had no tears. How should he explain it? I broke it. Don't blame Da Huang. Hearing this familiar voice, Bai Ya was stunned. Who is it? Come out. Don't pretend to be a ghost. Bai Ya just stuck her head out of the window and looked out, but saw no one at all. And why is this voice so familiar? It's very similar to my brother. It's me, Bai Xuan. Bai Xuan walked into the door, then leaned against the wall, and looked at Bai Ya. Bai Ya saw a blue eagle that could talk, and claimed to be her big brother. She almost fainted from fright and quickly called Da Huang. Rhubarb, catch it quickly. Da Huang was unmoved, and squatted on the ground as always, with helplessness in his eyes, and not knowing what to do. It speaks elegantly but is incomprehensible. Even if you want to explain it, you can't explain it. Da Huang speaks. Bai Xuan said calmly. Brother Bai, what do you want me to say? Sister Xiaoya doesn't understand. Da Huang walked into the door, squatted next to Bai Xuan, and said helplessly. Da Huang, what did you just say? Bai Ya was so shocked that she could actually understand what Da Huang said. It's useless no matter how much you say, you don't understand. I understand. Do you really understand? I really understand. You are retarded. You are the retarded one. It seems that he really understands. Da Huang was extremely shocked. There is also joy. I can finally communicate with humans without any barriers. Let's explain it now. Bai Xuan said. Sister Xiaoya, I can guarantee with my dog that he is really Brother Bai. If it's true, Brother Bai has regained his life and is back with us. The more Da Huang talked about it, the more excited he became. His eyes couldn't help but moisten, and he wanted to hug Bai Xuan and cry bitterly. After learning that Bai Xuan died, Da Huang didn't eat for several days in a row, and his mother and sister Xiaoya shed tears every day. For a long time, the atmosphere was sad. This time Bai Xuan didn't stop him. He let Da Huang lie on the ground, hugging his body and crying. After a while, he stopped. That's it. Don't cry, brother Bai. You don't know how sad I was when I heard that you died. I didn't have a bite of food for several days. I looked at your black and white photos and secretly cried. Wow, oh, it's really great that you are alive. Dahuan was crying so hard that his nose was dripping with mucus, making one of Beizuan's wing feathers covered with mucus and making Beizuan extremely sick. I'm still alive now. Don't cry. Calm down and don't use your snot on me. Oh, brother Bai, let me clean it for you. No need. Let's explain it clearly now, Bai. Xuan looked at Bai. From her eyes and behavior, it could be seen that she did not believe that she was Beizuan. After that, Beizuan talked about a lot of things in the past. Bai gradually believed that the blue eagle in front of her was her brother, but why did it turn into an eagle? Bai was very curious. Bai squatted on the ground and looked Beizuan up and down. Don't look at me like this, it's awkward. Beizuan felt a little uncomfortable. Brother, are you also a mutated creature? Bai reached out and touched Beizuan's head, shaking the bunch of stupid hair on the top of his head. Not to mention it felt quite comfortable. Beizuan flapped his wings and flew to the chair. It was obvious that he didn't like Bai touching him like this, so he nodded lightly. Yes, otherwise I wouldn't be able to talk to you. Brother Bai, is it because of you that I can talk to Sister Xiaoya? Dahuan asked. Sister Xiaoya couldn't understand her words before, but Brother Bai could understand them when he came. How could it be such a coincidence? That's right. From now on you can communicate without any barriers, Bai. Xuan raised his head proudly. Look, what you are proud of is still the same stubborn virtue. It has not changed at all, Bai. Ya rolled her eyes at Beizuan. What's wrong? If you touch it yourself, you won't die. He was still worried about Beizuan's resistance just now. Dahuan, don't you think so? Bai looked at Dahuan. I think it's pretty good. Dahuan hesitated for a moment and then spoke awkwardly. Dahuan, don't forget who brought you food during this period. I'll give you another chance to answer again. Dahuan looked at Beizuan with pleading eyes. You still have the same stubborn character. You haven't changed at all. You only know how to bully. Dahuan, I can't stand it anymore. Bai. Xuan treats others in his own way. Beizuan and Bai had been quarreling a lot before, and they didn't like each other. If Dahuan is asked to uphold justice, Dahuan will pretend not to understand. Now that he can communicate without any barriers, it will no longer work to use this method. Dahuan looked at the two people who had a disagreement and were about to quarrel, feeling a little helpless and warm. Since Beizuan's death, it has not been so lively and has become much cooler. Well, can you please stop arguing? We haven't seen each other for a long time. It's not good to argue when we meet. Dahuan came out to smooth things over. I'll give Dahuan some face this time, and I won't be as knowledgeable as you. Bai said. Then he touched Dahuan's head. Dahuan squatted on the ground and was taller than Bai. I didn't expect Rhubarb to be so smart now. When she noticed that Rhubarb was growing in size, Bai felt extremely shocked and instinctively frightened. After confirming that Rhubarb was still Rhubarb, she breathed a sigh of relief. I've always been very smart. You just don't know it. Dahuan raised his head proudly, and his tail kept wagging. When Bai saw this scene, the corner of her mouth twitched. It was indeed a dog raised by Beizuan, with such a similar personality. Then he turned to look at Beizuan. Dahuan has become so big. Why are you still so small? Could it be I'm too lazy to explain to you? Beizuan curled his lips. Suddenly something occurred to me and I asked how to solve the issue of Dahuan's collar. What else can I do? I can only tell the military that the rhubarb was accidentally broken. They should come over and replace it with a new one in a few days. Bai spread her hands. That was all she could do now. Bai is not stupid either, so she can naturally see that Beizuan doesn't want people to come by himself. Therefore, she will help Beizuan hide it. Although this is a bit bad, he calls the other person his elder brother, and he has not done anything harmful to nature. If she did something outrageous, that would be a different matter, but she believed that her eldest brother would not do such a thing. Chapter 29, ranking at the top of the list, showing off his magical powers. Afterwards, Beizuan took a shower and returned to his room. Lying on the bed, my phone was already charged. After turning it on and looking at the WeChat messages, I began to understand the current situation. The eagle claw cannot slide the screen, but it can be covered with aura. After scrolling through his phone for a while, Bai Xuan had a rough understanding of the situation. The country has begun to popularize the knowledge of spiritual energy and the methods of absorbing spiritual energy. If someone breaks through the next level, he must go to the military in the area to register, and then the resources needed for cultivation will be distributed to train warriors at the same time. Precautions are also given to avoid accidents in this way. Warriors were born all over the country, both men and women, old and young. Bai Xuan also saw a few familiar people. They were the warriors who chased Tuzi and Zhao in the mountains last time. They were all top talents in the Dragon Kingdom. After learning of their deaths, Long Jiuo searched the entire mountain range, vowing to catch the culprit. And Bai Xuan's name is also well known, ranking first among mutant creatures. Race: mutated Goshawk. Experts estimate that the mutated creature's level is around stage 1 and stage 8. Located in the center of Xiaoxing Mountains, it possesses wisdom and caution comparable to human beings. It is a master hidden in the forest, making it difficult to capture it. The level of danger is extremely high. Rockets cannot kill it, and its lethality can even pierce a 5 cm steel plate. If you see it, please report it to the country in time, and the country will give generous rewards. Bai Xuan looked at his information and found that it was indeed accurate, but now that he had changed drastically and his strength had entered the second level, it would be even more difficult to catch him. Based on the current information, I'm the fastest evolving. I don't know the situation of the ocean yet, but it should not harm me. The mutant creatures below the top of the list include tigers, as well as mutant creatures from other mountains, a king cobra that is 15 meters long, a python that is more than 20 meters long, a black bear that looks like a small mountain, and a giant wolf with back spines that is ferocious, the incomparable leopard, the mountain eagle with a wingspan of more than 10 meters, and so on. Bai Xuan is at the top of the list not because of his size, but because of his terrifying record. He has fought against humans several times and annihilated them twice. It makes human beings feel afraid and want to strangle it in the cradle. Otherwise there will be endless troubles at the same time. Bai Ya knocked on the door. Brother, the door is unlocked. Bai Ya opened the door and came in, holding 2 bottles of canned Coke. Driven by curiosity, she wanted to ask Bai Xuan about many things. With a flattering smile on her face, Bai Ya sat beside the bed with a Coke and opened the Coke for Bai Xuan. Brother, can you drink it yourself? Do you need me to feed you? No. Need. Bai Xuan picked up another bottle of Coke on the bed, pried it open with his eagle claws, held the Coke with his wings, covered with spiritual energy, sat on the bed, and took a big sip. Bai Ya gave Bai Xuan a thumbs up. Awesome. The corners of Bai Xuan's mouth raised slightly, and he started to show off his skills. This Coke is not ice cold. Then the wings exuded bursts of cold air, cooling down the Coke. Then he took a big sip and let out a haha. It tastes good. How did you do that? After this set of operations, Bai Ya was stunned. Her eyes revealed disbelief. This was so unscientific. I won't tell you. Bai Ya looked at Bai Xuan's look of needing a beating and forced out a flattering smile. Good brother, just tell me. Okay, forget it. Since you want to know so much, I will reluctantly tell you with great mercy. This is spiritual energy and cold energy. Forget it. You won't understand. Even if I tell you too much, then how can I absorb spiritual energy? According to the official teachings, I just can't learn it. I can't feel the spiritual energy. Is it because I don't have the talent to learn it? Rhubarb absorbs spiritual energy, and you still can't learn it. It's really shameful. Human beings are different from animals. Animal bodies are in tune with spiritual energy, and they can be absorbed into the body without deliberately absorbing it. Bai Ya was so angry that she gritted her teeth at Bai Xuan's look of needing a beating. If she hadn't asked Bai Xuan for help, she would have gone back. Wear this on your body, or eat it and swallow it in your stomach. Don't worry, it won't be pulled out in one piece. It will turn into powder and be excreted out of the body as much as it is absorbed. Bai Xuan took out a middle grade spiritual stone the size of an egg and a low grade spiritual stone the size of a palm. The middle grade spiritual stone was a scrap left over from before point. It's enough for Baya to absorb for a long time. What's this? Spiritual stone point. Remember not to let anyone know that you have a spiritual stone. It is best to lock it in the cabinet. Take it out when you sleep and sleep with it on your body, or absorb this spiritual stone according to the official cultivation method. Absorb it little by little, not too much at one time, because your body cannot bear too much energy, so you have to eat it one bite at a time, and you can't eat hot tofu if you are impatient. Bai Xuan chatted a lot and told Baya all the precautions. The absorption of animals is different from that of humans. Once rhubarb is swallowed into the stomach, the digestive system can automatically absorb it. You don't have to worry about it at all. Just eat it and leave the rest to your own blood and talent. New. Baya looked at the two spiritual stones and wanted to reach out to take them, but stopped halfway point. Bai Xuan can naturally see what Baya is thinking. You dislike me. This, not really, it just came out of the mouth a bit, you know. Okay, since you dislike it so much, I will take it back. Bai Xuan pretended to take the spiritual energy back. No, 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 I don't dislike it. It's you, brother, who is overthinking it. Actually, there is no saliva at all. I isolated and opened it. Baya held the spirit stone, and there was indeed no spit. Brother, you really have great powers. I don't want people to know my existence for the time being. Just you and Dahuang know about it. Mom will talk about it later. It won't be good for you if too many people know. Indeed, if too many people exist on their own, it will be a devastating blow to themselves and their families. I know. What are your plans next? Baya nodded lightly. It's not convenient to say more. It's not peaceful right now. Please pay attention to your own safety. Don't run around and don't go to the mountains. I know we are not 3-year-olds. Baya found that Bai Xuan was more nagging than before. Bai Xuan, on the other hand, wants to ensure the safety of himself and his family as much as possible. Based on his current situation, if he was discovered by the military, his family would definitely be affected and he would be taken back for a search, or he would be kicked out of his shell. If there is a weakness, he will definitely use it to threaten himself to make him submit obediently, and it is impossible for Bai Xuan to ignore him. That's good. Bai Xuan smiled bitterly. He didn't want to nag like this, but he just cared too much. Others, Bai Xuan, didn't bother to remind him. Brother, I will protect myself and my mother. Just feel free to do what you want to do. After Baya realized why Bai Xuan was nagging so much, she quickly assured her. Chapter 30 Back Mountain Cemetery, Leonan's plan. Afterwards, Bai Xuan asked some questions about what happened after his death. The cemetery is buried on the mountain, and they are worshipped every Qingming festival. The body has already turned into ashes and needs to be cremated in the crematorium. Bai Xuan has long been mentally prepared for this, and can accept it. Bai Xuan plans to go to the back mountain at night to find his purpose. Due to the outbreak of mutated creatures on the mountain, it has been blocked by the military and cannot go forward, but Bai Xuan has no effect and can come and go freely. Mom, come back soon. Don't you really want to see her? Baya said. Just take a look from a distance. Bai Xuan put down his phone and shook his head gently. Okay. Then, Baya knew very well what Bai Xuan was worried about. She was just afraid that her mother would not be able to keep her mouth shut, or would trust others and cause unnecessary trouble. Baya said hello, opened the door, and left the room. Although she didn't know what Bai Xuan had gone through, she could feel the changes in Bai Xuan and became more cautious. He must have experienced something difficult. In nature, the weak prey on the strong. Moreover, today is different from the past. The originally protected animals have lost the rules of protection and are regarded as a thorn in the flesh by humans. How can we not be vigilant in this situation? As night falls, the bright moon shines in the sky. Bai Xuan had already left home and was standing on a telephone pole not far from home, looking in the direction of the door of his home, as if waiting for someone. After a while, a group of middle-aged women rode an electric bicycle and brought meat and vegetables back to the door. Dahuang stepped forward to greet them, wagging their tails. The middle-aged woman smiled kindly and reached out to touch Dahuang's head. Rhubarb, are you hungry again? Dahuang nodded, wagging his tail happily. Woof woof. Okay, I'm going to get you something to eat. The middle-aged woman smiled kindly, then walked into the door carrying the food. Zuan's eyes were moist when he saw this scene. He wanted to step forward immediately and tell his mother that he was Bai Xuan, but for safety reasons, the fewer people know, the better in the end. Bai Xuan didn't come forward. He stood quietly on the telephone pole and looked at the scene in front of him. Dahuang spotted Bai Xuan and said woof twice. Bai Xuan slightly in response. You need to become stronger so that those difficulties can be easily solved. After a while, Bai Xuan flapped his wings and left, heading towards the mountain behind the town. Bai Xuan's mother seemed to have noticed something. After pouring the food for Dahuang, she looked into the distance. Is it my imagination? In a trance, she seemed to see the figure of her deceased son. Woof, woof. Dahuang looked up and saw that Bai Xuan had disappeared. Eat rhubarb quickly. Eat more and you will grow stronger. The military had told her about rhubarb before. It would get bigger and stronger, and it would be a good seedling. The military would vigorously cultivate rhubarb. She didn't have to worry about food. The country would provide it, so don't be stingy and be satisfied. Rhubarb appetite. She was still very worried at first. For the safety of her daughter, she immediately called the police. After a series of tests and Bai's application, Dahuang was brought back. In the back mountain, soldiers were heavily guarded and blocked the back mountain. Bai Xuan flew over the sky and entered the back mountain. His spiritual sense explored the situation in the back mountain. There were many first level mutant creatures. The highest level was a first level and 5th stage wild boar. It was huge. In the back mountain, no mutant creature was its opponent. There are also many venomous snakes, scorpions, and centipedes, all of which are quite large. Bai Xuan came to his cemetery and looked at the cemetery with his name engraved in front of him. Not to mention it was pretty. The location was also very good, and he could see the entire town. The breeze blows on my face, refreshing me. Bai Xuan stood on the tombstone, overlooking the town buildings. He had keen vision and could see pedestrians and mutant creatures. Most of the mutant creatures that could stay in the town were pets, while some were rats and insects in the sewers. There are also water creatures, etc. Suddenly there were bursts of gunfire from the foot of the mountain. Sudden, boom, boom, boom. Then came the roars and screams of wild beasts, the howling of wolves and the braying of pigs resounding through the sky continuously. Bai Xuan was not surprised by this. This kind of thing was inevitable. Either humans enter the back mountains and eliminate some mutant creatures, or the mutant creatures want to break this control and unite to fight back and break out and enter human territory. Treat others with their own treatment so that humans can also feel their pain and fear. There are two large groups in the back mountain, wild boars and black wolves. Wild boars reproduce very quickly. There will be several, or even a dozen, in a lifetime. With the recovery of spiritual energy, this situation will only get faster and faster, and the number will increase many. Then more and more food will be needed, and the humans at the foot of the mountain are the best food. However, humans have guns and firepower to suppress them. They can't get out at all. They couldn't even get close in the early stage, but now they can get close. But he was still beaten horribly. They are not at the same level at all. So what if the wild boar king can withstand bullets? There are also cannonballs and a series of weapons. There is no way the wild boar king can withstand such an attack. Under the cover of this firepower, other mutated creatures fell one after another. Corpses piled up like mountains, and blood flowed into rivers. Human weapons are like meat grinders, slaughtering them mercilessly. Why are you coming towards me? Bai Xuan said with displeasure in his tone. What if such a large group of people destroys their own cemetery? This cemetery is not cheap. It must have cost a lot of money. Because of this, Bai Xuan didn't want his cemetery to be destroyed. Forget it. It's better not to be exposed for the time being. Bai Xuan flapped his wings and flew into the air, preparing to leave here without getting involved. Suddenly, a large group of bats came towards him, a large area of darkness, almost the same size as the shrunken Bai Xuan. Bai Xuan flapped his wings and flew higher into the sky. The bats were pitch black, blending into the invisible night. They go in the direction of human habitation. Kill. Eat all those damn humans. You think you can control us by surrounding the back mountains? You are underestimating us, that's right. Those humans are so self-righteous that they never imagined that we would formulate tactics while those on the ground are just attracting their attention. As long as we enter human settlements, we will wreak havoc. Humanity will inevitably devote part of its manpower to stop us, and then the ground will be able to rush through the blocking line and go straight into human territory. Ha ha ha, it is indeed Leonang's strategy. It is extraordinary. The noisy sound reached Bai Xuan's ears. When Bai Xuan heard this, his eyes turned cold. His family is still in the town. In this case, Bai Xuan must stop them, even if it exposes his identity. Never let your family be in any danger. Chapter 31, Picking up leaks and swallowing them up. Leonan's thoughts. Little do they know that they are smart. Human radar has already detected them. Rockets dragged firelight one after another, piercing the dark night. There were at least 20 of them, attacking them at once. They still underestimate human weapon technology. The development of mankind for so many years is not in vain. Now they want to challenge human supremacy as like moths flying into the flames. However, the future is not certain. The power of attributes can be mastered at the second level, and it will definitely become more powerful after the third level. Bai Xuan estimated that he would have to reach at least the 5th level to threaten humans, and only the 6th level would be able to fight against humans. But this is just speculation. The future is ever changing, and who can say for sure what will happen next. The Bat army was blown to pieces and fell to the ground. The smell of blood filled the air and was extremely pungent. What the hell? Chief, what should we do now? The biggest bat remains calm in times of danger. They spread out and entered human territory from all directions. Yes. With a command, the bats dispersed and headed towards human settlement. Soldiers on the roof had already set up their machine guns, firing bullets at the bat army as if they were free of charge. The firepower was sufficient and continuous at the same time. More and more flying mutant creatures are joining the battlefield, flying desperately towards human territory. This time they have been planning for a long time and will never allow failure. Seeing this scene, Bai Xuan felt a little at the same time relieved. He flew to the ground, eating for free. Bai Xuan devoured the mutated creatures that were shot down by bullets. A steady stream of casualties and mutated creatures fell to the ground, but Bai Xuan ignored them, picking them up and devouring them. At the same time, the mutated creatures on the ground also began to break through and ran towards the town with all their might. Seeing that Bai Xuan had been devouring flesh and blood, he was furious, and a wild boar with a shoulder height of more than 2 meters rushed towards Bai Xuan. Go to hell. Bai Xuan slowly turned his head, and the terrifying murderous pressure spread, accurately pressing on the attacking wild boar. The wild boar quickly braked and stopped approaching. There was fear in its eyes. In its eyes, Bai Xuan was like a murderous god, staring at him coldly. Brother Rying, I was wrong. You continue to eat. I will take the first step if I have something else to do. You'd better stay. Bai Xuan flapped his wings, pounced on the wild boar, and stabbed the wild boar's head with his eagle talons, killing it. The huge body of the wild boar fell to the ground. Bai Xuan opened his bloody mouth and swallowed the wild boar into his stomach. His super digestive system digested it completely in just a few seconds, leaving no bones. Other mutated creatures on the ground include snakes, lizards, reptiles, etc., as well as wild boars, black wolves, wild dogs, wild cats, wild sheep, wild deer, etc. At this moment, they reached a consensus and fought towards the town with all their might. Bai Xuan flew to the tree and looked at the scene in front of him. It seems tonight will be a sleepless night after all. Bai Xuan doesn't plan to take action for the time being. If the human defense line is defeated and mutant creatures enter the town, Bai Xuan will take action. If not, he will pick up the leaks on the ground and devour the flesh and blood. An hour later, the war not only did not subside, but became more serious. A steady stream of mutated creatures joined the battle. Humanity also mobilized more soldiers, more weapons, helicopters, grenades, rockets, machine guns, rifles, mortars, and even missiles, and bombarded the mountains behind them indiscriminately, with blood and flesh flying everywhere, and flames shooting into the sky. During this period, Bai Xuan has been picking up blood and devouring flesh and blood. There were also mutated creatures that discovered what Bai Xuan had done and wanted to kill Bai Xuan, but they were all easily killed by Bai Xuan without any effort. A mutated creature of this level is like an ant to Bai Xuan, and it is easy to kill it. At the same time, point on the roof, an officer, holding a walkie-talkie, directed the battle point. After putting down the walkie-talkie, I looked at the back mountain with flames soaring into the sky. There are more and more mutated creatures, some of which are small and difficult to hit. Many soldiers have already died in battle, and it is not an option to continue like this. How is the evacuation of residents going? The officer asked the soldiers beside him. It has been evacuated 10 kilometers away. That's good, sir. We are facing a difficult problem. The supplies cannot keep up with the digestion. It will take 2 hours for the support to arrive. I'm afraid that I will run out of ammunition before the support arrives. No matter what, we must hold on, and we must not let these beasts enter the town. After the officer said this, he seemed to have thought of something. By the way, aren't there some mutated pets in the town? Bring them up and help. We brought it in, placed it on the sideline, and killed those creatures that crossed the sideline. Good job. The officer nodded lightly and praised. I don't know why these mutated creatures are so crazy. Why don't they just stay in the mountains and forests? They have to rush over and die. The horrific casualties did not scare away these mutated creatures, but instead angered them and drove them towards the town even more desperately. This was beyond their expectations. I hope the support supplies can arrive soon. Otherwise, at this consumption rate, it won't take long for the ammunition to be exhausted, and then we will have to use bayonets. Being able to use bullets and cannonballs, they naturally don't want to fight hand to hand. On Bai Xuan's side, the wolves came to support him in great force. The leader was an old man with yellow hair all over his body, skinny as a stick, and green eyes, looking at the battlefield below from a high altitude. This war was planned by it, uniting all the animals that could unite. The enemy of the enemy is a friend, plus an impassioned speech, so that these mutated creatures fought desperately towards the town, vowing to make a deal with humans. Break. At the same time, it also discovered Bai Xuan, noticed how extraordinary Bai Xuan was, and stepped forward. Friend, why don't you join the fight and create a better future for us mutant creatures? Bai Xuan became interested in this mastermind and flew to Liaonang. You also know the strength of human beings. Going forward is tantamount to death. That's right. Human beings have terrifying combat power, but we are outnumbered, so we may not necessarily lose. At first, we rushed forward just to consume human ammunition. Now the main force has started to take action. From what I see, humans can't sustain it for long. Yes, victory belongs to us after all. I see. You are quite smart, friends. We can't always be controlled by humans. We must fight for a future for ourselves and our descendants. If we just sit back and wait for death and run away when we see humans, then we will be at the mercy of others for the rest of our lives. This is not what you and I want to see. There is a saying in human beings, a chopstick is easy to break, but a chopstick can be broken endlessly, so we must unite. Leo Heo conveyed his own ideas to Bai Xuan. Why not wait any longer? Wait. How long do we have to wait? Human beings have been controlling our numbers and taking away all our spiritual energy resources. We have no choice. If we don't resist, we will only die. If we resist, there is still a glimmer of hope. Why don't you understand this? The more Liaonan talked, the more excited he became, and his hatred for human beings had reached its peak. Bai Xuan naturally understands this truth. He is just interested in asking Liaonan. This old man has a bright future. Given time, he will become a great person. Chapter 30. To kill Liu Bao and the beast tide resides. So tell me your choice. Join us and fight side by side or leave here. It's your choice. If you insist on staying and don't fight and keep devouring your companions, don't blame us for being rude. Liaonan gave Bai Xuan a choice. You are a very good leader, but you should not exist here. Bai Xuan admires Liaonan. S leadership ability. Bai Xuan said these words, and it was obvious that he didn't want Liao to live. If it were in other places, Bai Xuan might not kill it, and it would be good to let it attract human attention. But the town is where Bai Xuan has lived since he was a child. If he has relatives here, then he must deal with the potential threat of Laoao. What do you mean? Laoao was confused. Of course I mean to kill you. Bai Xuan smiled slyly, then instantly swung his eagle claws and chopped off Lao Bao's head. Lao Nan was already dead. Before he could even react, Bai Xuan opened his bloody mouth and swallowed it, gaining 30 evolution points. When the wolves protecting Leonang saw this, they became furious, opened their bloody mouths, and rushed towards Bai Xuan, looking as if they wanted to tear Bai Xuan into pieces. How dare you kill the leader? Tear it into pieces and avenge the leader. Leonang was their backbone and leader, but now he was eaten under their eyes. How could they not feel angry? Searching for death, Bai Xuan took action, killing 5 big black wolves in Twas, and still devoured them as usual. After Bai Xuan discovered that no mutant creature had discovered him, he continued to pick up mutant creatures and devoured them. At the same time, a large number of mutated creatures crossed the defense line. Soldiers fought to the death with mutated pets, and fought with mutated creatures. Seeing the mutated creatures coming continuously, the mutated pets shivered in fear, and finally ran away. Faced with so many mutated creatures, staying here would only lead to death. Without the blessing of faith, it is normal for them to escape. But the soldiers of the Dragon Kingdom will not, and must not let the enemy enter the town. They must stop them outside, and use their remaining bullets to fight the mutated creatures. Rhubarb did not retreat because of this, and started to struggle with the mutated creature. Bai Xuan was hiding in the dark. After seeing this scene, after hesitating for a moment, he now chose to take action, braving the light blue cold air, and cutting through the void, harvesting the lives of mutated creatures like cutting melons and vegetables. What is that? The officer held the pistol tightly, and stared at the light blue figure. It's a blue eagle. The soldier holding a rifle replied incredulously. This speed is too fast, and with this terrifying strength, it can kill those mutated creatures like cutting melons and vegetables. Where did it come from, and why does it want to help us? The officer murmured to himself, thinking about why the eagle wanted to help him. Sir, what should we do now? Should we attack that strange bird? The officer thought for a moment. Not yet, we'll wait and see. Yes, Bai Xuan rushed into the defense line and harvested the lives of mutated creatures. The black wolf that struggled with Da Huang was also easily eliminated by Bai Xuan. Da Huang fought against the black wolf and seemed a little powerless. He was panting heavily, and there was still a gap in level. The 6th level of the 2nd level was not very strong nowadays, and he was in the middle. Brother Bai is so strong. Da Huang muttered to himself. It's not stupid enough to talk to Bai Xuan here. At the same time, the Wild Boar King and the Wolf King came here with a lot of younger brothers. Looking at the piles of corpses in front of me, I feel heartache, but I have no intention of turning back. No matter how difficult it is, I have to bite the bullet. If I don't succeed, I will die. Brothers, kill me. The Wolf King let out a deafening howl. The same goes for the Wild Boar King. Kill them all, and I will kill whoever dares to retreat first. Wild boars and wolves are attacking humans fiercely, and the earth is shaking. You're a human lackey. Take a hit from your grandfather. The huge body of the Wild Boar King was slammed into Bai Xuan like a cannonball. Bai Xuan dodged sideways, and the Wild Boar King directly knocked down a 3-story building, filling the air with smoke. The Wild Boar King shook his head. The impact just now was so powerful that it was normal for him to feel dizzy. The Wolf King also saw that Bai Xuan was unusual and chose to take the lead in getting rid of Bai Xuan. He jumped up, attacked Bai Xuan from behind, and opened his bloody as if he wanted to swallow Bai Xuan in one gulp. Too slow. Bai Xuan's consciousness had already sensed the presence of the black-mouthed wolf, and he dodged it again. Black Wolf jumped into the air, turned around in the air and landed smoothly, looking at Bai Xuan warily. Why do you want to help humans? No comment. Bai Xuan's body grew larger, his wings spread 8 meters, and his sharp eagle claws showed their cold light. Swooping down from the air, as an after image flashed past, the black wolf's huge body crashed to the ground. But the head was gone. The Wild Boar King looked at the scene in front of him and was frightened. He didn't care so much and ran away. He was really frightened by Bai Xuan's terrifying strength. My strength is slightly better than that of Black Wolf, but I have to pay a huge price to defeat Black Wolf. But the Black Wolf was killed by the strange eagle in front of him in an instant. How could it not feel scared? Don't even think about running away. Bai Xuan ate the Black Wolf's head, then swooped down again and pierced the wild boar king's head with his sharp eagle claws. The wild boar king's eyes turned white, and he fell to the ground, his limbs twitching, and his brains flowed out from several bloody holes. The first order mutated creatures are vulnerable to a single blow in Bai Xuan's hands. Bai Xuan devoured the wild boar king and the wolf king. Seeing this, the other mutated creatures were so frightened that they ran away. All their backbones were dead. Knowing that there was no possibility of victory, they fled back to the mountains and forests. Bai Xuan continued to devour corpses on the battlefield, earning evolutionary points in a steady stream. If you don't eat, you won't eat. Anyway, you will be exposed. Furthermore, Bai Xuan will not stay in Long Kingdom for a long time. Bai Xuan felt aggrieved by being restricted and cautious all the time, but there was nothing he could do about it. There is definitely no way to be tough. The human soldiers looked at the scene in front of them and broke into cold sweat. They could clearly feel the terrifying aura on Bai Xuan's body. It's like a huge mountain weighing them down, and besides, they don't have many bullets left. He could only look at Bai Xuan warily, waiting for orders from his superiors. The iron table was moved to the roof wall, and the soldiers carried heavy sniper rifles and placed them on the iron table. The officer gently waved his hand and told the soldiers to step back while he personally used the sniper rifle. The officer locked onto Bai Xuan through the scope and was about to pull the trigger. Suddenly everything went dark, and Bai Xuan suddenly appeared on the roof, crushing the heavy sniper rifle. The cold eagle eyes looked down at the officer. The other soldiers quickly raised their rifles and aimed at Bai Xuan. If Bai Xuan dared to hurt, the officer would shoot without hesitation and beat Bai Xuan into a hornet's nest. Don't shoot. The officer stood up, looked at Bai Xuan, and then raised his palm to signal the soldiers not to shoot. Chapter 33 Working day and night to protect the country. Can you understand me? The officer tried to communicate with Bai Xuan. Bai Xuan looked at him for a while, then turned and flew away. Didn't hurt them. Bai Xuan doesn't want his family to see him kill someone. At the same time, this is his hometown, and he has more or less feelings about it. Let's let them go this time. If Bai Xuan gets anxious, he will be killed. It's really scary. The officer lowered his head and glanced at his trembling arm and the heavy sniper rifle that had been crushed. If this claw hits him, he will definitely die without any possibility of survival. The officer felt fear in his heart, not only because Bai Xuan crushed the sniper rifle, but also because of the cold air and killing intent emanating from his body. It seemed as if he would be eaten alive in the next second. Sir, are you okay? The soldier stepped forward to protect the officer, not daring to let down his guard at all. They didn't want what happened just now to happen again. It's okay. The officer waved his hand. So, what do we do now? Just report it truthfully. By the way, those reporters, stop the news about the strange eagle to avoid causing panic among the people. The officer felt it was very difficult. After all, it was difficult to suppress such a big thing, and he could only block the news as much as possible. Yes, I'll do it right away. Little did they know that someone had already started the live broadcast, but it was quickly blocked. However, they did not give up and tried their best to record what happened tonight and then posted it online. Damn it, have all mutated creatures evolved to this point? It's really terrifying. I'm afraid that humanity's dominance will be in jeopardy. That's not necessarily the case. No matter how powerful they evolve, they are still flesh and blood. As long as the firepower is enough, they can be killed in minutes. But it hasn't been long since the spiritual energy has been revived, and it has evolved to this point. It is not afraid of bullets, has thick skin and thick flesh, and is extremely powerful. Humanity is now facing an unprecedented blow. I heard that several countries have fallen and become paradises for mutant creatures. There is not a single living person in the entire country, and they are all mutant creatures, based on the current situation in the Dragon Kingdom. The mutated creatures have been controlled, and the number of mutated creatures is being reduced. At the same time, a large amount of spiritual energy resources have been mastered. The number of warriors is also increasing day by day. Don't worry, the Dragon Kingdom will never fall. There are different opinions online. Some people feel panic, while others are excited or calm and feel that human beings are invincible in a military base. Second level. This must be a second level mutant creature. Experts, scholars, and higher level military officers looked at the video coming from the battlefield with excited voices. Why does this eagle look so familiar? It can change body size, knows how to disguise itself, has terrifying strength, and can even master cold air. It can't be the one from Xiaoxing Mountains. I think it's possible. The powerful mutated creatures in the Dragon Kingdom have all been recorded. This bird is an eagle, and the goshawk in the mountain range has disappeared for a while, so it makes sense. When it evolved to the second level, it knew that it would provoke us in the Daxing Mountains, so after evolving, it left the mountains non-stop and went to other areas suitable for survival. If it leads to neighboring countries, we may really have nothing to do with it. While we are still in the Dragon Kingdom, we must seize him as quickly as possible. They were discussing one after another, and an old expert asked his doubts. Why did it let the commander go? And why did it help us without harming humans? Maybe he doesn't want to provoke us anymore. The old expert shook his head slightly. This is unlikely. It even dares to rob the escorting troops the spirit stones. What else can it not dare to do? It clearly knows that it has angered us. In this case, why should we let those people go? This is too much contradictory. It's better not to be killed than to be killed. It's possible that you don't want to waste time and run away quickly. These are the only two possibilities. The elderly expert once again denied the other party's statement. No, with its strength and speed, it won't take long to deal with those soldiers. There must be another hidden secret that must be found out. It can shrink its body and come and go without a trace. Should we look for it? Moreover, it is very smart, and we can't guess what it is thinking at all. Now that mutant biological riots are occurring across the country, we should not pay too much attention to this strange bird. The man smiled bitterly. It makes sense, but if it is allowed to evolve, there will be endless consequences. I think it should be taken care of, but you can't put too much attention on a mutated creature. You need to take the overall situation into consideration and send some people to track it. After locking the location, just leave it to the local military forces to solve it. There is no need to waste too much energy on understanding the hidden truth behind it. I agree too. Most people agree with this statement. After all, troops and production lines are in urgent need now, and wasting too much energy and advanced weapons to kill a mutant creature is a waste of time and money. Nowadays, a large number of military factories are started and constructed, producing weapons, bullets, etc. day and night. They also need training before they can be employed. Time is tight, and we need to race against time. Forget it, that's all it can do. The old expert sighed. If only a small number of them could still be investigated and captured, they would be able to afford it. But now the number of mutated creatures is increasing rapidly across the country, and there are more and more riots. The Dragon Kingdom uses force to suppress them, driving them back to the mountains and forests, or killing them mercilessly. The army was intensively distributed to various places. More and more soldiers were enlisted, and veterans were recalled one after another to join the battle point. After experiencing a spiritual energy tide, Dragon Kingdom's advantage has been reduced a lot, but now it can still suppress and control the numbers. The residents of the town returned home feeling uneasy. Many people have not yet calmed down from their fear. Bai was cleaning Da Huang's body with a wet rag. The basin on the ground was stained red with blood, and the smell of blood was pungent. Da Huang fought with the black wolf and suffered many injuries. His hair was stained with blood. He was splashed with blood by other mutated creatures and suffered his own injuries. The most serious thing was the half-meter long wound on the leg. When he was sent back, it had been sewn up to stop the bleeding. After being cleaned with medicine, it was bandaged and treated perfectly. During this period, the soldier also fed Rhubarb some food and praised Rhubarb for his bravery. He praised rhubarb so much that he felt happy and the wounds on his body no longer hurt so much. Rhubarb, we must work hard to become stronger, protect my mother, and contribute to the country. After Bai experienced this incident, she felt that she was weak and helpless in the face of disaster. Although she is very weak now, and is not strong enough for a mutant creature to fill her teeth, this did not defeat Bai, but instead aroused her fighting spirit. She must become a warrior as soon as possible, contribute to the country, and protect her family. Chapter 34 Reservoir. Make big money. Town Reservoir. Race. Xuanhan Scaled Eagle. Level. Stage 2 and Stage 3. Skill. Xuanhan Heavy Peck. Intermediate level. Xuanhan Heavy Claws. Intermediate level. Frost Spirit Wings. Low level. Spiritual Consciousness. Low level. Sonic Attack. Low level. Ice Scale Overlord. Low level. Cold Cover. Advanced. Frost Wing Blade. Low level. Cold Control Intermediate level. System Skills. Eye of Appraisal. Communication with living beings. Devouring heaven and earth. Death Pressure. Ruai. Immunity to toxins. Can be immune to various poisonous gases and toxins. Evolution point 1000/6000. During this time, Bai Xuan did not leave the town, but stayed around the reservoir, hunting various mutant aquatic creatures, and gaining a large number of evolution points coupled with the evolution points obtained previously. Bai Xuan's level has naturally reached the second and third stages, and his strength has been greatly improved. All skills have broken through the mortal level and become spiritual level. The body shape did not change, but the demon core aura increased. At the first level, the cyclone is stored in the demon core. After the second level, it is liquid, and the demon core also turns light blue, symbolizing the ice attribute. At the same time, Bai Xuan was looking for mutated aquatic creatures in the reservoir. Bai Xuan's speed in the water is not slow, and he can easily chase down those mutated water creatures. Swallow the mutated giant grass carp. Stage 1 and Stage 6. Gain 60 evolution points. Swallow the mutated black water snake. Stage 1 and Stage 5. Gain 50 evolution points. Swallow the mutated carp. Stage 1 and Stage 4. Gain 40 evolution points. Swallow the mutated mallard. Level 1 and Stage 5. Gain 50 evolution points. Swallow mutated turtle. First stage and fifth stage. Gain 50 evolution points. Evolution points kept coming in, and Bai Xuan devoured a lot of second level fish and shrimps in one gulp. The reservoir has not been greatly interfered with. Fishing with electric nets is used to control the population. However, those mutated aquatic creatures are very smart and will not be easily fooled or deliberately bite the fishing nets, which makes the military very uncomfortable. Because of this, there are many more mutated aquatic creatures than on land. Only the military can come here. Even those brave and persistent fishermen have given up and dare not come to the reservoir to fish. After the spiritual energy revived, some people came to fish and caught many good and big fish. However, after the spiritual energy tide arrived, there were more and more mutated creatures and their attacks became stronger and stronger. Many people were dragged into the water and killed one after another. If you die, you will be blocked from behind. Reservoirs are important water resources, and the military has not yet been able to figure out how to control mutated aquatic organisms without polluting water resources. In addition, the mutated creatures in the mountains and forests are coming one after another. They are going down the mountain to harm the town, and they are being held back. There is no time to deal with the reservoir anyway. They can't harm the town for the time being. Control the mutated creatures in the mountains first, and then deal with the mutated aquatic creatures. As night falls, the bright moon shines in the sky. Bai Xuan jumped out of the water, flapped his wings, was in midair, and shook off the water on his body. It's getting late. Let's call it a day. Just as Bai Xuan was about to leave, his consciousness sensed a mutated water creature approaching the second level. Looking up, what comes into view is a turtle head the size of a stone pier, sticking out of the water, and looking up at the full moon in the sky. Is this absorbing the essence of the sun and moon, the aura of heaven and earth? Bai Xuan did not take action immediately, but quietly flew to a big tree on the shore, stood on the branch, and watched the scene in front of him silently. I saw a huge turtle shell emerging from the water, with bursts of white light all over its body, and wisps of spiritual energy around it being sucked into the body. The aura gradually increased, and the surrounding mutated water creatures did not dare to approach it. Seems that my guess was right. This old turtle is about to advance to the next level. It's approaching the second level, and after advancing to the second level, it will be the second level. It's rare to get to this point so quickly. Either this old turtle has an excellent talent, or it has acquired some kind of treasure or spiritual energy. Bai Xuan did not take this opportunity to sneak attack on the old turtle. There was no need. After the old turtle was promoted and killed successfully, he could get more evolution points at the same time. The corpse of the old turtle and the demon core are also a great supplement. Now that Bai Xuan has eaten so many mutated creatures, his level has reached a bottleneck. Maybe he can break through the second and fourth stages by eating this old turtle. Well, is there someone entered Bai Xuan's spiritual consciousness soon. The sounds of footsteps and conversations followed. Brother Xuan, why don't we go back? I always have a bad feeling. What are you afraid of? Those are just bigger beasts. There's nothing to be afraid of. Besides, so many were killed some time ago. They won't be in danger. Don't worry, but I still feel very unsafe. There is no need to lose your life for such a small amount of money. Also, many people have drowned in the past few months. It is so unlucky. Since you are so scared, why didn't you tell me earlier? If I had told you earlier, I wouldn't have brought you here. If you want to go back, you can leave now. I will never stop you. Forget it. I'm already here, and I don't want to go in vain. That's right. A mutated fish costs 1000 yuan. 10 fish is 10,000, and other game is more pointed costs at least 10,000 yuan a night. It's like picking up money. How can there be so much picking up money in this world now? Opportunities for money? If you don't do it, others will. Besides, it's not illegal to do this now, so you don't have to worry about being arrested and jailed. Zhuang Zimo hugged his friend who came with him, grinned, and encouraged him to continue. As the saying goes, wealth can be found in danger nowadays. Many big bosses want to eat these mutated creatures, and they also want them fresh. They also know the dangers, so naturally they will not come in person. So they let those brave people go into the mountains and come to the reservoir, catch wild animals or fish for aquatic creatures. That's right. Wu Xingsu nodded lightly. Both of them brought a large amount of hunting and fishing equipment. Compound bows, fishing nets, homemade high-power electric forks, and homemade explosives, flashlight, anti-mosquito spray, etc. Carrying large and small bags on their backs, they are doing physical work themselves. They have strong muscles, and their explosive power and endurance are far beyond ordinary people. Most people really can't bring this equipment into the mountains. The car parked in the woods on the roadside and took a shortcut and safer road to the reservoir. We are all fathers. For the sake of our children, what does this difficulty mean? Now that there is a warrior academy, the resources and money required are only a lot more. We must make more money so that our children can have a better life. A good future. You can do what you want to do. You're right. That brat of mine has been clamoring all day long about becoming a warrior, protecting our country, killing all the mutated creatures, and protecting me and his mother. Wu Xingsu smiled. Thinking of his children's dreams, he was no longer afraid. He must overcome these difficulties and dangers, move forward bravely, earn more money, and give his children the capital to realize their dreams. That's right. Let's go. If we complete the task early, we can go back and rest early. Zhuang Zimo walked to the reservoir and put the tools on the ground. Start placing the required items, including folding seats, fishing rods, lines, baits, mosquito repellent coils, flashlights, etc. All are prepared neatly and in one go. The same goes for Wu Xingsu, who arranges the items skillfully. Then he started fishing, placed several fishing rods, sat on a folding chair, took out a box of cigarettes from his pocket, and handed one to Zhuang Zimo next to him. Come on, smoke. Zhuang Zimo took the cigarette, held it in his mouth, blocked the wind with one hand and lit the fire with the other, took a big puff and exhaled. Xingsu, I have invited many people to come with me, but you are the only one who is bolder and dares to come with me. In fact, there is no danger. I have already investigated, and there are basically no wild animals coming here. Let's just keep fishing as before, don't worry so much. Zhuang Zimo invited many people to this money-making opportunity, and he could get a large commission, but those people were too afraid, and rejected Zhuang Zimo. Only Wu Xingsu was bolder, and dared to come with him. In this regard, Zhuang Zimo naturally tried his best to retain this hard-won companion. One more person means one more care point. After returning safely this time, more people will definitely join in. Zhuang Zimo and Wu Xingsu started to think that they would come after they felt that it was not as dangerous as they thought. Actually, my financial situation is quite tight during this period, so I might as well make some extra money. Wu Xingsu scratched the back of his head. The same goes for me. If you have money, who would be willing to take this risk? Zhuang Zimo smiled bitterly and took a drag of his cigarette sadly. The mutated organisms here in the reservoir are relatively clean, while the fish in the smelly ditches, fish ponds, and rivers are either restricted and not of high quality, or are polluted by the smelly water and are not clean. If it does not meet the diet of those rich people, it is better to spend money to get sea fish, game, and clean freshwater fish. Anyway, it is not so much money. You can eat whatever you want. The higher the level, the higher the aura, and the nutritional value will naturally be higher. Then it improves. Suddenly Wu Xingsu discovered something, pointed his finger at the water in the distance, and said in an anxious tone, Brother Zhuang, look over there. What is that? Zhuang Zimo looked in the direction of his finger, and what he saw was a mysterious creature emitting light. He quickly picked up the telescope. Yes, it's a giant turtle. Wu Xingsu reached out and picked up the compound bow. His eyes showed vigilance. He did not dare to take it lightly and was prepared to deal with the incoming danger at any time. Brother Zhuang, what should we do now? I'll take a picture first. Zhuang Zimo picked up the phone, turned on the camera, zoomed in, clicked a few times, and took several pictures in succession. Then send it to the seller, the wealthy boss who asked them to come here. Soon a language message was sent over there. Damn it. This is a big supplement. Zhuang, as long as you can catch this turtle alive, I will give you 200,000 yuan, and I will give you 150,000 yuan. If it is dead, I will transfer the money as soon as the goods arrive. Zhuangzi was overjoyed. 200,000. This is not a small amount of money. Okay, boss, I will do my best to handle it. Just wait for my good news. Well done. I really saw the right person. Zhuang, do a good job. I won't miss your penny. By the way, pay attention to safety. Contact me as soon as possible. If you catch me, I won't bother you anymore. You busy? The verbal message sent by the boss revealed excitement unabashedly. This old turtle can surely revive itself by stewing it in soup, braised in braised sauce, etc. 200,000 is very worth it. Even more than this price. If it is resold, it will be directly multiplied several times. A lot of people are rushing to get this kind of mutant creature, which has a great effect on both ordinary people and warriors. Strengthen your body and prolong your life. Brother Zhuang, that old turtle is not something we can deal with, so let's forget it. It's too risky. Zhuang, why are you still so courageous? As the saying goes, wealth can be found in danger. 200,000 a night. This is not a small amount. You can buy a car. Are you going to miss this? What an opportunity. If you don't catch this old turtle this time, it will be even more difficult to catch it next time. With the temptation of 200,000, how could Zhuang Zimo give up this opportunity to make a lot of money? Not only did Zhuang Zimo not feel scared, he was even very excited. After Wu Xingsu was silent for a moment, he gritted his teeth and stamped his feet. It's done. Brother Zhuang, what should we do? Don't rush this. We agreed in advance. 4 or 6 points. 4 for you and 6 for me. Zhuang Zimo naturally wanted to make a big profit. Okay, I have no objection. Wu Xingsu agreed without thinking. 4 or 6 points is fair. After all, it was Zhuang Zimo who introduced him to make money. It is reasonable for Zhuang Zimo to take the big lead. Okay, let's prepare our weapons first. Quietly touch it, aim at the head, give it a fatal blow, and then work together to drag it back to the shore. Zhuang Zimo made a plan. The arrows had already been tied with ropes, just to shoot the fish, and then pull them to the shore, so that they would not have to go out to catch them. Unexpectedly, today would be of great use. As long as they killed this old turtle, they would be free for a long time. If they worked harder, they could earn $1 million within 3 months. Desire is like a mountain and a rolling stone. After they make a lot of money, they will become more and more courageous, and any risks will have long been forgotten, isn't there only 200,000 for being captured alive? Wu Xingsu felt puzzled. Zhuang Zemo explained, "You're stupid. It's not that easy to capture him alive. The risk is too great. After you kill him and bring him back, you can bargain for a price that will definitely be more than 150,000, but at least 200,000, or even more." Brother Zhuang is still thoughtful. Wu Xingsu patted his head and suddenly realized, "Okay, without further ado, let's quickly get the equipment and set off." Zhuang Zemo started to get the equipment. After everything was ready, Wu Xingsu quietly walked towards the direction of the old turtle. Bai Xuan had a panoramic view of it all. Seek death. For two ordinary people, it would be a fool's errand for them to kill a mutated creature close to the second level with that little weapon. Bai Xuan didn't intend to get involved. There is no need to expose one's position for two people who are not relatives. At the same time, Zhuang Zemo and Wu Xingsu came to the shore less than 200 meters away from the old turtle, squatted on the ground, nocked an arrow, and drew the bow, aiming at the old turtle's head. "I'll see *M first." "Okay." Wu Xingsu responded softly. If Zhuang Zemo misses, Wu Xingsu will follow up. If he hits, Wu Xingsu will hit the target and drag them back to the shore. The arrow is custom made and can be firmly fixed after being shot into the prey's body. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 35 Old Turtle Advances, Water Spirit Flower. Zhuangzi drew his compound bow to its full capacity, and sharp arrows shot through the air. It flew towards the old turtle's raised head. Bang came the crisp sound of metal collision. How is that possible? Zhuang Zemo's arrow hit the old turtle's raised head without any deviation, but it did not cause any actual damage. This is a 60-pound compound bow. It can shoot into the skin, flesh and internal organs of an adult black bear. If the shot is accurate, it can hit the heart and kill it with one hit. And what about the old turtle? It was hit in the middle of the head, but it was not penetrated. It even left only a slight wound, which shed a little blood and healed in a short time. Wu Xingsu followed closely behind and shot out an arrow. This time he aimed at the eyes. This could definitely kill him with one blow point, but what he never expected was that the old turtle rolled his eyes, shrank his head, dodged the attack, and then bit the slender rope. Leng Bingbing looked at the two people on the shore. At this time, the old turtle's promotion was coming to an end. It evolved much faster than Bai Xuan. Bai Xuan was puzzled by this. The old turtle's aura suddenly surged, and with a bang, as if the barrier was broken, the aura surged again, and the size increased at a speed visible to the naked eye. The level also reached the second level and the first level. After a while, his breath converged, and his huge body jumped into the water. Seeing this scene, Zhuang Zemo and Wu Xingsu were so frightened that they sat down on the ground. Their bodies were shaking uncontrollably, and they were almost ********************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** explosive with steel balls inside, which was more powerful. It should be gone, brother. Zhuang, let's run quickly. The monster's defense is too terrifying. We are no match for it. Yes, let's run, brother. Zhuang, there is something in the water. No, the monster is chasing me. Zhuang. Zemo stood up quickly, seeing that he was running out of time. The monster had already rushed out of the water, its mouth wide open, revealing rows of fangs and a tongue covered with barbs. Zemo glanced at Wu Xingsu and had an evil thought in his heart. As who? I'm sorry. After that, Zemo pushed Wu Xingsu towards the old turtle, giving himself time to escape. Brother. Zhuang. Wu Xingsu looked in disbelief. He couldn't imagine that Zemo would do this. Zhuangzima pulled out the fuse of the bomb in his hand, with white smoke coming from the tail, and threw it fiercely, accurately into the old turtle's mouth. The old turtle bit Wu Xingzu's head with a bloody mouth, and then there was a loud bang, which was deafening. The explosive exploded in the old turtle's mouth. White mist filled the air, and flesh and blood flew everywhere. Wu Xingzu became a headless corpse, fell to the ground, and died there. Zhuangzimo had already run far away with his compound bow. After running for a certain distance, I stopped and wanted to see if the old turtle had been killed, probably dead. No matter how powerful the old turtle is, the power of explosives cannot be overshadowed, not to mention that it explodes in the mouth. It is so powerful that, even if you don't die, you will be disabled. At that time, you can do some last-ditch damage. If you sell it, you will definitely make a lot of money. For such a big body, 500,000 or 1 million, Zhuangzima became even more excited when he thought of this. His guilt towards Wu Xingzu had already been forgotten. He's not dead yet. Zhuangzimo drew his bow early, but after what I saw before me, my jaw dropped in shock. I saw the old turtle vomiting out a bunch of steel balls, as well as blood, and its eyes were scarlet. It was completely angry. After letting out a roar, its strong limbs crawled on the ground and started to kill Zhuangzimo. Don't come here. Zhuangzimo shot the sharp arrow and ran away point, but his running speed is far less than that of the old turtle. Within a few seconds, he was caught up with him, and he bit him down, breaking him at the waist. Zhuangzimo let out a painful scream. "RRR. Don't kill me, please don't kill me. I don't dare to kill me anymore. If you have a lot of money, please spare me once." The old turtle did not let Zhuangzimo go because of this, and directly ate Zhuangzimo alive, eating people without spitting out the bones. After the old turtle finished eating, he turned around and slowly crawled towards the water at the same time. Bai Xuan finally took action and landed ashore. How could Bai Xuan miss this opportunity? Xuanhan heavy claw, the sharp claws shining coldly, covered with cold air, hit the old turtle's head hard with a heavy blow, followed by a loud bang bang sound. The old turtle cried out in pain, "Please let me go. I have good things. As long as you don't kill me, I can give them all to you." This time it was the old turtle's turn to beg for mercy. The old turtle knew its current situation and it still had a bright future, but it didn't want to die like this. But Bai Xuan had no intention of letting it go point. "If I kill you, everything will be mine. Do I still need you to give me something?" He didn't die. At the same time, Bai Xuan was also a little surprised. He didn't expect this old turtle's defense to be so high. If one move doesn't work, just use 2 or 3 moves. I don't believe that I can't kill him. Bai Xuan grabbed the old turtle's head with his backhand, turned his body, and twisted the whole head into a twist. The old turtle finally died tragically. His huge body lay on the ground, motionless, and his death was extremely miserable. Bai Xuan stood on the huge corpse of the old turtle. The shell was extremely hard, the limbs were covered with scales, the sharp claws, and the terrifying mouth were no longer something ordinary turtles could possess. Bai Xuan released his spiritual consciousness and probed the old turtle's body. No attributes, no wonder he advanced so quickly, but his body size has increased. His own attributes have not been awakened, and there are still several low-grade spiritual stones in his body. Bai Xuan swallowed it into his stomach. Swallow the mutated old turtle. Level 2 and level 1. Get 200 evolution points. Swallow low-grade spiritual stones and gain 100 evolution points. Swallow low-grade spiritual stones and gain 100 evolution points. There must be treasures in the lair in the water. Bai Xuan took a deep breath and then got into the reservoir. Turn on your spiritual awareness to the maximum and look down at the place where the old turtle absorbs the essence of the sun and moon. Not long after, Bai Xuan found the old turtle's lair. There were corpses of many mutated creatures, including water creatures and ground beasts. Bai Xuan searched inside and finally found a huge middle-grade spiritual stone, a bunch of low-grade spiritual stones, and most importantly, a mysterious plant. The eye of identification presented the information about the plant to Bai Xuan. Water spirit flower, in the mature stage, can gain 10,000 evolution points by swallowing it. There are actually 10,000 evolution points. Bai Xuan was surprised. I didn't expect this trip to be so fruitful. Bai Xuan swallowed everything in his stomach, then jumped out of the water, flew to the shore, and looked at the items brought by Zhuang Zimo and Wu Xingzu in front of him. He sighed and then flew into the forest. Bai Xuan learned something from their conversation. They came to the reservoir secretly and wanted to make a lot of money. If they saw the old turtle advance and couldn't be greedy, they would be safe. But not only was he greedy, he also overestimated his own strength. In the end, Zhuang Zimo pushed Wu Xingzu into the tiger's mouth. He also fantasizes about killing the old turtle and selling it for money. If he can finally restrain his greed, he may still be alive, but there is no if. Chapter 36 Second Stage 7th Stage, Huda. Race, Zuanhan Scaled Eagle. Level, Stage 2 and Stage 6. Skills, Zuanhan Heavy Peck, Advanced. Zuanhan Heavy Claw, Advanced. Frost Spirit Wings, Intermediate. Spiritual Consciousness, Intermediate. Spiritual Sound Wave, Intermediate. Ice Scale Hegemony, Intermediate. Cold Air Coverage, Full Level. Frost Wing Blade, Intermediate Level. Cold Air Control, Advanced Level. System Skills, Eye of Identification, Communication with Living Beings, Swallowing the Sky and the Earth, Pressure of Death, Good Size, Immunity to Poison. Evolution Point, 5000/8000. Bai Xuan evolved successfully and reached the 2nd level and 6th level. After devouring the old turtle's resources, Bai Xuan gained 13,000 evolution points. After swallowing the water spirit flower and the spiritual stone, Bai Xuan's level was upgraded to the 2nd level 5th stage, and then he spent 7,000 evolution points to upgrade 1 level to the 2nd level 6th stage. After being promoted to 3 levels in a row, the strength has been greatly improved. The body size reaches 8 meters in length and the wingspan is 22 meters. Bai Xuan shrunk his body, flew out of the cave, and headed towards the Daxing Mountains. Blue sky and white clouds. Clear sky. Point Bai Xuan soared in the sky 1,000 meters high, at an unhurried speed. Point along the way, Bai Xuan kept flying. When he saw a place with a lot of mutated creatures, he went down and slaughtered them. After devouring almost all of them, he walked away. 10 days later, Bai Xuan returned to the Daxing Mountains and upgraded his level point. After reaching the 2nd stage and 7th stage, the body shape has not changed. Point Bai Xuan released his spiritual consciousness and began to search for the Siberian tiger in the mountains. It is to help Uzi find his mother and big brother. The mutated creatures in the mountains have also improved a lot during this period of time. There are more and more sub-levels, and mutated creatures are rampant. It may be due to the relatively sufficient spiritual energy in the mountains, some of which are approaching the 2nd level. I don't know when the next spiritual energy tide will start, Bai Xuan murmured to himself. After a while, Bai Xuan found the Siberian tiger that Uzi described. It was an 8-meter long Siberian tiger with scars all over its body and dripping with blood. There is a shocking scar on his face, which adds a bit of ferocity to it. The Siberian tiger was running wildly in the forest, and suddenly a figure appeared in front of him and landed on the big rock. The Siberian tiger could clearly feel the terrifying aura on the other side and couldn't help but stop and look at Bai Xuan warily. "Ah, you Huda?" Bai Xuan asked. "I'm Huda. What do you want from me?" The tiger's eyes were alert, and he did not dare to underestimate the blue eagle in front of him. Point. Although Bai Xuan has now shrunk in size, the Siberian tiger feels the threat of death from him and does not dare to take it lightly. He is always prepared to deal with dangers that come at any time. "That's good. It seems that I found it right. I'm Hugh's eldest brother. He asked me to find you. Do you know where your mother is?" Bai Xuan got straight to the point and simply informed him of his identity and purpose of visit, not wanting to cause unnecessary misunderstandings. Hearing this, Huda became less vigilant, but he did not completely believe Bai Xuan. "Based on these alone, I can't completely believe what you say." This made Bai Xuan a little embarrassed. Point Bai Xuan told Huda everything about Uzi's description to him and their past. If he still didn't believe it, there was nothing he could do. Bai Xuan had no choice but to leave. "Uzi, how is he doing?" Huda believed Bai Xuan's words. "It should be fine. I haven't seen it for a while." Bai Xuan told the truth. After all, he hadn't seen Uzi and Xiaohui for a while. How they were doing would not be known until they were found. Where Is it now? Neighboring. Far East. You want to take me to see it? Although Huda didn't know where he was, he still chose to believe Bai Xuan. Yes, but before that, we need to find your mother. I haven't seen my mother for a long time, but I can take you to my mother's territory to look for her. Huda had no time to take care of himself and struggled to survive in the forest. Not only do you have to deal with mutated creatures, you also have to watch out for humans. At first it looked down on those strange bald monkeys, but after being attacked by guns, it gained some understanding of humans and was very scary. Its current injuries were caused by humans. At the same time, Huda's level, the first level and the 7th level, can be ranked upstream in the mountain range point, but facing those mutant creatures of the 1st and 9th stages, they are no match at all. You can only avoid it if you see it. Okay, I'll go look for you after your injury stabilizes. Bai Xuan could tell at a glance where Huda's injuries came from. I was not surprised by this. After all, mutant creatures like Uzi, it is also normal to be included in the control quantity target. It's not too bad. It's not fatal. I'm fine. Business is important. I'll take you to find my mother. No, your injuries are somewhat serious. Otherwise your life would be in danger. Bai Xuan shook his head gently. In this state, he would probably die before he found the tiger mother. But just leave it to me. Huzi was like this last time. He was beaten into a hornet's nest by humans, but I saved him and saved his life. Then I'll leave it to you, and thank you. I'll keep this kindness in my heart. If there is any use for me in the future, just say it, and I will do my best. Huda lowered his head to express his sincere gratitude. He saved his brother, and also helped himself. This kind of kindness will never be forgotten by Huda for the rest of his life. Suddenly there was a roar. No, they are catching up. Brother, let's run. Huda sounded excited. No, I'll just deal with them. Bai Xuan flapped his wings and headed towards the direction of the roar. Brother, you are no match for them. Come back quickly. After Huda hesitated for a moment, he still chose to follow. The off-road vehicle was speeding through the forest. They were the second batch of warriors. As humans continue to research, they are injected with spiritual energy medicine to help their bodies better absorb spiritual energy and then step into the realm of warriors. Woohoo. I never thought that I, Sushan, would one day hunt Siberian tigers. You're too excited. Hahaha. How can you not be excited about killing such a large beast? I think that crocodile is more enjoyable to hunt. Okay, after we kill the Siberian tiger, we will kill the crocodile. By the way, I heard that there is a huge eagle in the mountains. It is number 1 in the list of mutant creatures. I'm excited just thinking about it. It would be great if I could meet it. You really dare to think that if we encounter it, we won't be able to survive, even if we have 10 lives? That's right. After all, that strange eagle's record is not low. It can even kill all the armored vehicles escorting the convoy and drive away. On the off-road vehicle, there were men and women, all wearing camouflage military uniforms, talking and laughing. These mutant creatures are all listed on the control list, and they can hunt them without any psychological burden. If they are docile mutant creatures, they will not kill them, but will take them back, train them, and become human beings' right-hand assistants at the same time. They all have cameras on their bodies, which can better record the scenes of killing mutant creatures. Chapter 37 Frostwing Blade, Red Scale Crocodile. Bai Xuan swooped down from the air with lightning speed. The body became larger, and the wings were covered with a layer of ice crystals. Like a long knife, it cut across the middle of the off-road vehicle and broke at the waist. Frostwing Blade. The eyes of the warriors showed disbelief. The off-road vehicle lost control and hit a big tree before stopping, with smoke billowing out. A moment later, the sound of explosions came, and the engine exploded, drowning them in the raging fire. The screams continued. Bai Xuan turned around and ended their lives. To end their lives was to get rid of the pain. After all, being killed by Bai Xuan is better than being burned alive by flames. This. Huda stared at the scene in front of him in stunned silence. The steel giant that he couldn't get close to was just cut in half. Also, it has grown in size. This blue eagle is indeed quite extraordinary. Okay, it's settled. It's time to treat your injuries. Bai Zuan shrank his body, flew to Huda's back, and stood on him. Then, I'll trouble you then. Huda came back from the shock and spoke a little awkwardly. In this way, Bai Xuan used his eagle claws to help Huda remove the bullet from his body, and then used spiritual energy, cold air, and herbs to seal the wound to stop the bleeding. With a cold voice, Bai Xuan controlled the temperature to a level that Huda could bear. Not only did I not feel cold, but it was ice cold and very comfortable. Huda was shocked and admired Bai Xuan's superb treatment techniques. Thank you, my friend. You're welcome. Bai Xuan waved his wings. By the way, I don't know your name yet. What should I call you? Just call me Xiao Bai, or Brother Bai. Bai Xuan replied. Okay, Brother Bai, when will you go find my mother? Let's go now. You lead the way. Bai Xuan squatted on Huda's head. Good. Huda did not feel unhappy, but was very happy. After all, Bai Xuan is his savior, and possesses terrifying strength. It is not difficult to accept, being his younger brother, or even his friend. Huda took Bai Xuan to his mother's territory. Huda has a keen sense of smell, and is looking for traces of his mother, and Bai Xuan is flying in the air, standing high and seeing far, and with terrifying vision. As long as Huda's mother is not dead, and continues to live here, he will definitely be able to find her. Even if you hide in a cave, you can still find it, by relying on clues. After a while, Bai Xuan finally found the residence of a Siberian tiger flying to the ground, and telling Huda the news. His mother would have to go over, and confirm to find out. As the size increases, it is natural for the tiger mother to find a new place to live, and with the threat of humans, it is normal for tiger mothers to find another suitable and safe cave. Afterwards, Huda followed Bai Xuan to the entrance of the cave. Less than 200 meters away from the cave, a tiger roar came from the cave, which was deafening, and the birds and animals fled in all directions. Is she your mother? Bai Xuan asked lightly. Yes. Huda nodded slightly. Before the mutation, he was driven out of the territory by the tiger mother, and had to rely on his own efforts. At that time, Huda and Huzi's brains were not so bright. They only knew how to hunt prey, eat it to fill their stomachs, and become stronger. When they were about to enter the estrus period, their spiritual energy revived, and they became mutated creatures. Their spiritual intelligence was turned on, and their stomachs felt like as if there is not enough to eat. He is looking for prey everywhere. He even fought with other Siberian tigers, just to compete for food. Later, they gradually stabilized, and their estrus period was delayed. Their IQs became higher and higher, and they understood that only by becoming stronger can they survive better, and mating will be discussed later. At the same time, I also thought of my mother and brother, who wanted to come back, but were entangled in all kinds of trivial matters. Resurrection of spiritual energy. This hard-won opportunity must not be missed. They are the first batch of mutated creatures, and they have survived tenaciously to this day, having avoided being hunted by other mutated creatures. Siberian tigers are not gregarious animals, and are still a bit troublesome and weak when facing those gregarious animals. Later, humans joined in, and the living environment became more difficult. Mom, it's me. Tiger roared twice. Huda, why are you here? Tiger mother walked out of the cave. After seeing Huda, his eyes softened, but he still remained wary of Bai Xuan. Nowadays, Siberian tigers are no longer the overlords of the mountains, and some even find it extremely difficult to survive. As their levels increase, their size no longer determines their strength. Tiger mother can judge whether there is a threat to herself from the aura emanating from Bai Xuan. Obviously, Bai Xuan's aura is very strong, and it is normal for tiger mother to be wary. And that roar was to scare Bai Xuan away. Mom, the mountains are not peaceful now. We need to leave here as soon as possible to find a place suitable for our survival. This is also to join Huzi. Dad explained and said what he meant. Who is it? Tiger mother stared at Bai Xuan intently. It is Huzi's friend. Come and take us to find Huzi. Dad quickly explained, fearing that Bai Xuan would be unhappy. Brother Bai, don't be angry. My mother has such a bad temper. Please forgive me. It's okay, you guys chat. I'll go take a look around. Bai Xuan gave them time alone to explain the ins and outs, flapped his wings, flew into the air, and checked the surroundings to see if they were being monitored by humans at the same time. He was going to kill a mutated creature. I just found it when I was looking for traces of the tiger mother. It is a 15-meter long red-scaled crocodile with a rank of second and second level. It shouldn't take long to advance to the next level. After a while, Bai Xuan came to the sky above a huge lake. It should be inside. Bai Xuan looked down at the sparkling water. I saw a huge figure in the water before, slowly approaching the giant deer water by the lake. Suddenly the figure rushed out of the water, opened its bloody mouth, revealing a row of red and sharp fangs, and bit the giant drinking deer in one bite. Neck, drag it into the water, and eat it. At that time, Bai Xuan originally thought about going to meet the crocodile, but after thinking about it, he decided to forget it, and help you to find its mother first. At the same time, a creature entered the range of Bai Xuan's consciousness. It was a big crocodile. Bai Xuan pretended not to notice it, flapped his wings, and floated steadily in the air. The crocodile was very cautious, observing Bai Xuan intently in the water, and found that the other party had not noticed him. He exerted all his strength, jumped up, rushed out of the water 20 meters high, opened his bloody mouth, and wanted to bite Bai Xuan, then dragged him into the water, drown him alive, and then eat him. After Bai Xuan dodged the bloody mouth, he activated Xuanhan Heavy Claw. The two eagle claws exerted force and hit the crocodile's cheek hard. Kick it away, and hit the ground hard with a loud bang, smoke filling the air, and dust flying. Chapter 38 Water Attribute Spiritual Power, Rich Harvest, Good Strength. The red-scaled crocodile shook its head. The cheek extended to the thick neck, with several shocking and bloody wounds. The red-scaled crocodile uses spiritual energy to seal the wound and stop the bleeding. Frostwing blade. Bai Xuan's wings were covered with cold air, and they were sharp, like sharp blades, and then flew out like cannonballs. He looked like he was going to cut the red-scaled crocodile in half. The red-scaled crocodile's tail was covered with aura, and layers of water flowed upwards, and it whipped out its tail fiercely. There was a loud bang, deafening. The cold air spreads and the ground is covered with a medium layer of ice. Immediately afterwards, blood splashed everywhere, and what came into view was that the tail of the red-scaled crocodile was cut off, and the blood spurted out like a fountain, and the smell of blood filled the air. The red-scaled crocodile roared in pain. Ho ho. But Bai Xuan was unscathed. It's really tough to be able to withstand two of his own attacks. The red-scaled crocodile is considered the best in the entire level. It has extremely high defense and possesses water attribute spiritual power. As long as he doesn't die young, he will at least be the overlord of one party in the future. I admit defeat. I admit defeat. As long as you let me go, I can be your little brother, follow your lead, and obey your orders. After feeling the difference in strength between the red-scaled crocodile and Bai Xuan, he begged for mercy. You better die. Bai Xuan launched a new round of attacks. A moment later, the red-scaled crocodile died here. Its neck was twisted, and its death was extremely miserable. Swallow the second stage of the second stage, the red-scaled crocodile, and gain 300 evolution points. Swallow low-grade spiritual stones and gain 100 evolution points. Swallow low-grade spiritual stones and gain 100 evolution points. There are 5 low-grade spiritual stones in the body of the red-scaled crocodile. This red-scaled crocodile has a lot of wealth. No wonder he can advance to the second level. The red-scaled crocodile is located in the lake deep in the mountains. It has temporarily escaped human killing, but its whereabouts have been discovered and will be solved sooner or later. It's just a matter of time. Bai Xuan got into the lake, released his consciousness to the maximum, and looked for the crocodile's lair. Not long after, Bai Xuan found a medium-grade spiritual stone. After swallowing it, he gained 1000 evolution points and nothing else. Bai Xuan washed his body in the lake, went ashore, and shook off the lake water on his body. Today's harvest is quite rich. Afterwards, Bai Xuan headed towards where Tiger Mother and Tiger Dad were, military base. Damn it. That strange bird has appeared again, and killed so many people again. How on earth can we catch it? Hey, that strange bird is elusive. I don't know where it will go next time. Have you noticed it? This strange bird seems to only kill people in the mountains. There are no injuries at all in other places. Logically speaking, this kind of ferocious beast escapes our control and enters human habitation point. The queen of the earth will wreak havoc and vent its anger, but it does not do this and even helps humans. What do you want to express? What I want to say is that the strange bird has a clear grudge. From beginning to end, it was us who provoked it first. So, are we doing something wrong? It's hard to say because our positions are different. My idea is that if we can make good friends with them and resolve the past feud, it may be beneficial to both parties. Haha, do you think it's possible? What is our purpose? To control the spiritual energy resources and the number of mutated creatures. There is no possibility of living in peace with that strange bird, so don't think too much. They were talking a lot and had different opinions. Noisy. Again. Why do we have to quarrel every time, Mr. Lin sighed helplessly. Mr. Lin, I'm refuting the other party's statement. I don't mean to quarrel with him on purpose. I'm just expressing my opinion. I think it's possible to live in peace, which is beneficial to both sides. Haha, before that, you should first understand how big a threat that strange bird is to us before you speak. If we don't get rid of this eagle, there will be endless troubles. Chapter 39. The second spiritual energy tide breaks out. Bai Xuan flew back to Tiger Mother and Huda. Huda told Tiger Mother the whole story and tried his best to explain that Bai Xuan was not a bad guy. In the end, Tiger Mother also believed Huda's words, but she still remained wary of Bai Xuan. Point on the surface, he is gentle and grateful. Thank you for saving my eldest son. You're welcome. By the way, just call me Xiao Bai. Bai Xuan stood on a big rock and waved his wings. Tiger Mother nodded slightly. Okay, then Xiao Bai, when will we leave? You can leave now. Naturally, the sooner the better. Bai Xuan wanted to see the situation in the Far East with his own eyes. To the north of the Far East, very close to the North Pole, it is extremely cold. Point in some places, there are only 3 months out of the year where there is no ice and snow. Point this harsh environment is not suitable for human habitation. Point it is normal to be sparsely populated. Point it is possible to spend a whole day wandering around. Point couldn't even meet anyone. Point as for whether there are more or less mutant creatures, Bai Xuan is not sure. Logically speaking, the colder it is, the fewer the creatures are. But today is different from the past. The mutant creatures' physical fitness has improved, and some of them should be able to adapt to this. Bai Xuan is one of them. The ice attribute allows Bai Xuan to stay in cold places. There are also warm places in the Far East with dense forests. There are always places suitable for tigers and the others to survive. Don't worry. Point in this way, Bai Xuan took Tiger Mother and Huda to the north, that is, in the direction of the Far East. Not long after, they crossed the border. Bai Xuan just thought of continuing to take Tiger Mother and Huda forward. Point suddenly, several explosions resounded through the sky. Bai Xuan turned around and looked at the Daxing Mountains. This feeling was very familiar. The second spiritual energy tide has erupted. Unexpectedly, the second spiritual energy tide would erupt at this time point, and this spiritual energy tide is dozens of times bigger than the last time point. There are also spiritual tidal places in the Far East, but they are far less rich and huge than the Daxing Mountains. It's starting again. Seeing this scene, Tiger Mother's eyes revealed longing. Point the attraction of this level of aura tide to them is huge, but it comes with great danger. Even if humans don't end up point, they can't compete with those mutated creatures. The tiger level is in the first level with 7 levels, and the Tiger Mother is in the first level with 8 levels. Brother Bai, what should we do now? Huda wanted to snatch it, but before that, he needed to seek Bai Xuan's opinion. There is a place over there where the spiritual energy tide is relatively small. Go and see if you can grab it. At the same time, do what you can. It is important to save your life. I will go to the mountain range. After finishing the matter, I will come back here to gather. After Bai Xuan pondered for a while, he finally chose to go to the Daxing Mountains alone, where the spiritual energy tide was even greater. Maybe after this spiritual energy tide passed, he would be able to advance to the 3rd level. Okay, Brother Bai, please pay attention to your safety. Huda knew his own strength, and he was still injured, so he couldn't exert his peak strength, so he had to act according to his ability. The spiritual energy tide not far away was very suitable for their mother and son. Xiao Bai, if you can't fight, run away. Life is the most important thing. After a moment of silence, the tiger mother explained kindly, well, don't worry. Bai Xuan nodded lightly. After that, he flapped his wings and flew towards the Daxing Mountains. Bai Xuan now has the 2nd and 7th level. Ordinary weapons can no longer harm Bai Xuan. Because of this, Bai Xuan dares to compete with humans for resources. Without further ado, let's take action. Okay, Mother and Tiger both want to become stronger. Today's situation is even more cruel than the animal world. The weak eat the strong and the fittest survive. The Siberian tiger is no longer the king of the forest and faces many threats and challenges. If they do not snatch it, they will be eliminated. It even becomes a meal for those powerful mutated creatures. At the same time, the sky was covered with dark clouds and there was lightning and thunder. Then it started raining heavily and the wind was blowing hard. The forest lit up with pairs of scarlet eyes, densely packed. Bolts of lightning pierced the sky, illuminating the pitch black forest, and what came into view were densely packed mutated creatures, scrambling to be the first to move towards the location of the spiritual energy tide. This time, a total of 10 spiritual energy tides were born in the Daxing Mountains. Huge energy broke out of the ground and soared into the sky, attracting all surrounding creatures. There are also some mutated plants that are born with spiritual intelligence. Their rhizomes break out of the ground and they are able to move freely, heading towards the nearest spiritual energy tide. Among them are mutated tree spirits. They are not too big, only 8 meters tall, but their roots are strong and dense. After breaking out of the ground, they run with an extremely strange movement, accompanied by landslides and ground cracks. Bai Xuan was flying in the forest, and he was easily struck by lightning at high altitudes. The whole body is covered with spiritual energy, and the rain cannot soak the feathers. Wherever you go, the temperature drops sharply, and the cold air drifts away. But this did not affect those mutated creatures. At this time, they entered a violent state, and lost their minds. The only thing they could think about was grabbing those spiritual energy resources, even if it cost them their lives. It's really crazy. Bai Xuan did not lose his mind. However, those auras have a great attraction to themselves. The closer they get, the greater the attraction, and they want to take it as their own. Ryuki. I want to absorb Ryuki. Their eyes were scarlet, their behavior was crazy, as if they were on drugs, and they kept roaring. Along the way, many mutant creatures were trampled to death. There were also weak mutated creatures that were killed by powerful mutated creatures. They were pushed all the way. Those weak mutated creatures were knocked around. Some were seriously injured, and some died on the spot. During this period, some flying mutated creatures went crazy and attacked Bai Xuan without knowing their capabilities, but Bai Xuan killed them one by one without any effort. On the other side, human armored vehicles, tanks, helicopters, fighter jets, transport vehicles, etc. are dispatched at the fastest speed. When encountering mutant creatures blocking the road, they directly crush them or use machine guns open the way. Like a meat grinder, corpses are everywhere. Blood flowed into a river. If the second spiritual energy tide is like this, won't it be even more serious in the future? Now there are countless spiritual energy tides all over the country, all appearing at the same time, and our military and firepower are limited. When necessary, missile strikes can be used. These mutated creatures must not be allowed to grow unbridled, otherwise it will be a devastating blow to our Dragon Kingdom. Understood? The officers in the transport vehicle were communicating with each other, all with serious expressions. They were here to direct the battle, and at the same time, they accepted orders from their superiors at the base, and made timely responses. The military base in the Daxing Mountains is guarded by hundreds of soldiers to avoid being attacked by mutant creatures. There are 10 aura tides in the mountains. They do not have enough troops to fully control them. Because of this, they are divided into 3 groups to control the auras respectively. 3 places with the biggest tides. Chapter 40. The biggest spiritual energy tide. Humans enter the scene. The largest spiritual energy tide. The explosion just now blasted a large crater of several hundred meters into the ground, with a crack that was hundreds of meters long in the middle. A huge amount of spiritual energy spurted out, soaring into the sky, along with a large number of low-grade spiritual stones. After being sprayed out of the ground, it was like a goddess scattering flowers everywhere. The mutated creatures gathered here fought over each other, resulting in numerous casualties. Spiritual stones were sprayed continuously, showing no signs of stopping. The spiritual energy that soars into the sky turns into spiritual rain and pours down, nourishing the forests on the earth. All things revive. There are more and more mutated creatures. Plants grow unbridled, wisdom is born, and the forests become more lush. The same time, Bai Xuan came here and looked at the scene in front of him with shock in his eyes. I didn't expect this spiritual energy tide to be so huge. It seems that I made a mistake in my judgment. This time the spiritual energy tide is hundreds of times stronger than the last time. If the second spiritual energy tide is like this, then it will be even more terrifying in the future. You must not slack off. You must always stay ahead and crush. This is what Bai Xuan is thinking now. His body becomes larger, his wings span 22 meters, and he flies to the crack in the spiritual energy tide with lightning speed. Frost wing blade, death pressure. The sharp wings ruthlessly slaughtered the mutated creatures near the crack. In a short time, Bai Xuan killed hundreds of mutated creatures, leaving corpses strewn across the field and blood flowing like rivers. The death pressure is released to the maximum, causing a great shock to the mutant creatures hundreds of meters around. They were so frightened that they shivered, and their bodies instinctively retreated. Facing such a terrifying mutant creature as Bai Xuan, they felt terrified. The cold air spreads and the ground is covered with a layer of ice. The closer you get to the spiritual energy tide, the greater the level improvements, and people with excellent talents can directly advance from the first level to the second level. The second level advances to the first level. The first level advances to the second level, and more. Bai Xuan's level was upgraded to the second level and ninth level, and his momentum surged. The terrifying pressure made the mutated creatures within 100 meters of him unable to breathe. Back off, otherwise don't blame me for being rude. Bai Xuan's tone was cold. This was not a discussion, but an order forcefully suppress those mutated creatures that want to get closer. Those mutated creatures became much more awake and retreated one after another, not daring to get closer. Their eyes revealed fear and unwillingness. They were naturally very unconvinced, but they had no choice. Bai Xuan was too strong, and they were no match for Bai Xuan. You can only take 30% and leave the rest to us. That's right. If you dare to monopolize everything, we will never watch it. You probably don't want to fight us alone. What? Did it eat to grow up? And why is it so powerful? Looking at this strength, he should be promoted to the third level soon. Friends, we have a common enemy, which is human beings. For the sake of the overall situation, we should share these resources. As we become stronger, we can deal with humans together. Right. That's right. There are many beasts with great power. I hope my friend can think clearly before answering. Those second order mutated creatures started to persuade. You can have this. You guys stand back. After I get enough, the rest is yours. If you don't agree, you can fight. Bai Xuan nodded slightly, his tone no longer so cold. Okay, I hope you keep your word. They couldn't defeat Bai Xuan, and even if they went up, they would only be slaughtered. The great era is coming. They cherish their lives, but also dare to fight for their lives. It depends on the situation. Bai Xuan shrank his body and flew into the crack. The huge spiritual energy rushed to make Bai Xuan stagger a little, accompanied by many low-grade spiritual stones. The low-grade spiritual stones are not Bai Xuan's target. The mid-grade spiritual stones in the cracks are Bai Xuan's target. However, Bai Xuan will easily accept the low-grade spiritual stones that fly in front of him. Bai Xuan swallowed all the middle-grade spiritual stones in the crack into his stomach. Suddenly, a piece of spiritual energy emitting colorful light rushed out from the deepest place, rushed out of the crack at an extremely fast speed, and headed towards the sky. This spiritual stone is only the size of a palm, but it contains terrifying spiritual energy. The mutated creatures outside saw the spirit stone, and their eyes shone brightly. A large number of flying mutated creatures flew towards the spirit stone, fighting over it. From the crack, a light blue figure came out, soared into the sky, and was the first to get the spirit stone. This figure was Bai Xuan, and the Eye of Appraisal was activated. High-grade spiritual stone. Swallow it to gain 10,000 evolution points. Good stuff. Bai Xuan swallowed it into his stomach. After the flying mutant creature saw the spirit stone, Being swallowed by Bai Xuan, it headed towards Bai Xuan crazily, covering a large area in darkness. They were unable to resist the temptation of the spiritual stone, and had completely lost their minds. They knew they could not defeat Bai Xuan, but they still shot towards Bai Xuan. Bai Xuan released the coercion, and caused actual damage. Level 1 and below 7 levels were directly stunned. His eyes turned white, and he foamed at the mouth. He fell to the ground, and was eaten by other mutated creatures. Those below the second level were greatly affected, but they still fought desperately towards Bai Xuan. The second level mutated creatures were even more ferocious. Seeing this scene, Bai Xuan started fighting with them, or in other words, massacre. Blood spattered everywhere, flesh and blood flew everywhere, and corpses continued to fall to the ground. Bai Xuan had the upper hand from beginning to end. No matter how many monsters came, it would be the same. His consciousness and pressure were released to the maximum. If another high-grade spiritual stone appeared, Bai Xuan could directly take action and get the spiritual stone. During this period, you must always stay in the middle of the spiritual energy tide to ensure that you can get it as soon as possible. Suddenly, hundreds of rocket launchers blasted into the herd of beasts, B********G and rumbling, killing countless mutant creatures. Those who could survive the rocket launchers were all mutant creatures of level 1 or above. This also means that humans have entered the scene. The tank is like a steel behemoth, mercilessly crushing mutant creatures, entering the battlefield, and advancing continuously. The military truck with densely packed gun barrels behind it shot out countless rocket launchers round after round, heading towards the beast side. The soldiers reloaded the artillery quickly, and the rocket launchers were used up in a short time. However, half of the mutated creatures were also eliminated. Rocket launchers opened the way and cover with firepower. Then armored vehicles, tanks, etc. entered the scene and continued to advance. Heavy machine guns, rockets, artillery shells, rifles, etc. harvesting the lives of mutated creatures ruthlessly. This time the weapon was even more ferocious than last time. It was like a meat grinder. Not long after entering the scene, it killed so many mutated creatures. 10 helicopters appeared in the sky, and their gun barrels were almost on fire. The firepower was even higher, causing a devastating blow to the mutated creatures on the ground and in the air. But there are more mutated creatures than that. Mutated creatures that could not squeeze in before can now step on corpses and enter the battlefield in an endless stream, losing their minds and not fearing life or death. This will be a difficult and costly war. It's really terrifying. Bai Xuan looked at the scene in front of him and couldn't help but sigh. Chapter 41. The people are there, the faith is there, and the dragon kingdom will last forever. The second level alien beast was enraged and roared to the sky. Kill all these humans. You're right, these humans are too annoying. Get rid of the humans first. If the tiger doesn't show off its power, it really thinks we are sick cats. Kill us. The second level alien beasts awaken those crazy, mutated creatures that kill each other. Those mutated creatures no longer kill each other, but point their finger at humans in terms of dealing with humans. They are still very united. They still vividly remember the previous killings of mutant creatures by humans. Even if I haven't seen it, I have heard it from similar people, and I feel extremely angry about it. Pairs of scarlet and crazy eyes looked at humans, as if they wanted to eat them alive. Kill them all. With a command, the beast tide rushed towards the human beings, so powerful that the ground shook. No, those beasts have united. The officer stayed in the transport vehicle, looking at the outside situation coming from the screen in front of him. His face changed drastically. I didn't expect that these crazy beasts could unite to deal with us. They have already been born with intelligence and know that only by uniting can they defeat us. This is not surprising. Now is not the time to talk about this. The top priority is to resist the attack of these beasts. In the last spiritual energy tide, most of the mutated creatures were of the second level, or even had no level, and there were only a few of the first level. Now, after absorbing spiritual energy, the strength of these mutated creatures has greatly increased. The lowest level is the 8th level of the second level. The first level accounts for 70%, and there are dozens of second level creatures in this case. They have to worry about whether they will fall here. Stop them no matter what. The officer picked up the walkie-talkie and ordered. Yes. All the soldiers knew the danger this time, but they did not flinch. Their eyes were firm, and they were already determined to fight to the death. All hot weapons were used continuously and continuously point with suppressed fire. Those mutated creatures were killed before they even got close, or were beaten into a hornet's nest. Call air support. The officer commanded the battlefield and called for air support. Not long after, a huge fighter jet flew through the sky and dropped missiles. This is a set of missiles after being dropped. The watch case separated. Trapped in the watch case were small bombs. There were 500 of them. They were scattered like a goddess scattering flowers. They were scattered on the ground, covering the fire with huge destructive power or group harm. In an instant, there was a continuous sound of bang. Bang, 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 boom, explosions, blood, and flesh flying everywhere, rivers of blood, and corpses strewn everywhere. More than 60% of the mutated creatures died in the fire, and 20% were dying, with blood dripping, intestines flowing out of their bellies, and they had lost their ability to fight. This directly scared the remaining mutated creatures and the mutated creatures in the forest to death. Faced with the threat of death, they gradually regained their sanity and instinctively retreated, not daring to step forward. Now only 20% of the mutated creatures are left on the battlefield capable of fighting. The rest are either dead or dying. If nothing else, they will not survive. Died in pain. This is too scary. Why are humans so strong? Why? It's obviously easier for us to master spiritual energy. Why do we still lose to them? Are we going to be crushed by humans all the time? I'm so unwilling to do so. When they saw this scene, their confidence was greatly reduced. They thought that, after their strength increased greatly, they would be able to defeat humans, and even if they were not good enough, they would be able to draw, but they did not expect that the gap would be so big. Bai Xuan shook his head helplessly. The overall situation has been decided. I'd better go look elsewhere. After Bai Xuan witnessed the whole process, he didn't expect that even fighter jets were used. Although the strength of the mutated creatures has greatly increased, they are still pale and powerless in the face of this kind of terrifying firepower. After all, human beings have developed for so many years, and they still have a long way to go if they want to be able to fight against them. Bai Xuan flapped his wings and flew away without waiting any longer. Bai Xuan looted most of this spiritual energy tide, and some low-grade spiritual stones were obtained by strange beasts. Ever since the high-grade spiritual energy flew out, no spiritual stones have appeared, not even low-grade spiritual stones. However, the spiritual energy continued to rush into the sky. The rain became heavier and heavier, lightning thundered, the smell of blood filled the air, blood flowed for hundreds of miles, and with the battles taking place elsewhere, the mountains had already been devastated, and the forests were stained with blood. The strange eagle flew away. The officer looked at the situation on the screen. Do we need to send a helicopter to kill him? Helicopters can no longer kill that strange eagle. I think we should let the fighter jets go. There are not enough fighter jets now, and other places also need fighter air support. I don't think fighter jets should be sent there. It makes sense, but are we just going to watch it leave? Furthermore, according to reliable information, that strange eagle has obtained most of the spiritual stones. If we don't get rid of them now, over time, there will be endless troubles. The highest ranking officer, after a moment of silence, sighed helplessly. Let's solve the immediate matter first. Truthfully report the situation of the strange eagle to our superiors, and let them make a decision. Now we only need to solve the immediate problem. Then he picked up the walkie-talkie. Full firepower. Kill as many as you can. The remaining 20% of mutated creatures are at high level, so gather them now, and kill them as soon as possible to avoid having to take time to deal with them in the future. After a period of massacre, humans successfully occupied the spiritual energy tide and began to collect spiritual stones and demon cores. These corpses were a big problem, and instead of leaving, they waited for the rain to stop and then burned them. It would be better if they could be taken away, but there were too many, and tanks couldn't drive in. They could only step on the corpses to look for spiritual stones and demon cores. However, the effect is minimal. Blood has already flowed everywhere, nourishing the earth. The flesh and blood of mutated creatures contains spiritual energy, which is of great help to living creatures in the future. There will only be more and more mutant creatures, and they will even grow in a crazy state. Point in this battle, there were many human casualties, and they were attacked and killed by mutant creatures. The officer looked at the spiritual energy tide in front of him, that was getting weaker and weaker, and was about to stop. Point behind the scenes, soldiers are transporting spirit stones, demon cores, and simply treating injured soldiers. The methods are simple, crude, and efficient. As long as they can save their lives, the dead soldiers are covered with red flags, carried into the transport vehicle, and brought back to their roots. Meet the family members, and then give him a grand burial. Point. Some of these dead soldiers were found from the stomachs of mutated creatures, and there were countless broken limbs and arms. There was heavy rain, lightning and thunder, and the soldiers were immersed in a heavy atmosphere. This is not frustration, nor is it fear. The people's soldiers of the Dragon Kingdom will not be afraid of any difficulties. I will only move forward bravely, destroy enemies when I encounter them, and solve difficulties when I encounter them. I will never be timid or afraid, and I will never surrender or admit defeat. However, this emotion is one of reluctance. The brother who went through life and death together is dead, and with the things they encountered during this period, they can't be careless and act like nothing is wrong. They are also people of flesh and blood, not invincible. The Dragon Kingdom will live forever. The officer's eyes were firm, and he clenched his fists. This is his belief all along. The Dragon Kingdom will never perish, and will definitely be able to overcome all difficulties. Where the people are, where the faith is, the Dragon Kingdom will last forever. Other officers raised their hands in a military salute to the soldiers who died in the transport vehicle. The Dragon Kingdom will live forever. The Dragon Kingdom will live forever. The soldiers strengthened their beliefs, looked firm and serious, saluted the military salute, and shouted loudly. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 42 Carpet Bombing, Convergence. Bai Xuan swept away two relatively small spiritual energy tides. These two parts of human beings cannot move for fear of being hit by missiles. That thing is no joke. If you don't do it right, you'll be reduced to rubbish. It can fly from a distance. The BDAL satellite military navigation system can hit the target accurately, and the radar sensor can track the missile. Bai Xuan doesn't want to take a shot. 10 lives are not enough to carry it. At the same time, the spiritual energy tide ends. The spiritual energy of the mountains becomes more intense. Everything grows crazily. Towering trees rise from the ground, and the forest becomes dense. The level of mutated creatures is getting higher and higher. This spiritual energy tide, they have more or less harvested, but also suffered heavy casualties. It's almost time to leave. Bai Xuan knew that the Dragon Kingdom would never abandon the mountains easily and allow ferocious beasts to take over and become king. This was a major trouble, and the mountains were a greater threat than other places. Bai Xuan soared in the air, passing by the military base stationed in the mountains. There was no one around, and Bai Xuan felt puzzled. Logically speaking, it was impossible for the Dragon Kingdom to abandon the mountains so easily. When something goes wrong, there must be a monster, so it's best to leave as soon as possible. The Daxing Mountains are very suitable for Bai Xuan to grow, but they are too dangerous. This is not from mutant creatures, but from humans. Suddenly, more than a dozen bombers and fighter jets appeared. The fighter jet pierced the void, flew at supersonic speed. Sonic explosions sounded, and condensation clouds appeared on its tail, like white mushrooms. The wings of the aircraft are covered with various types of missiles, which are extremely expensive. When Bai Xuan saw this, His pupils were shaking. Bai Xuan, who had always been calm, was frightened. Damn it. Is it necessary to make it so big? These fighter jets are not targeting Bai Xuan, but mutant creatures in the entire mountain range. The Dragon Kingdom does not allow these mutated creatures to grow unscrupulously. It must be nipped in the cradle to buy more time for the Dragon Kingdom to grow. No matter what happens, keep on the same running line. After Bai Xuan came to his senses, he flew towards the north with all his strength. This was Bai Xuan's most embarrassing escape. There is no way. Thermal weapons are not covered. Bai Xuan's current speed is far inferior to that of a fighter jet flying at supersonic speed. Swooping down is another matter, but as long as he is not discovered, and his consciousness is released to the maximum, and he tries to avoid those missiles as much as possible, he can arrive safely neighboring countries. Fighters carried out carpet bombing, mutated creatures died at an extremely terrifying speed, and the forest was bombed beyond recognition point according to the judgment of high-level officials. The spiritual energy is revived, and even if there is no trace left, after being blown up, the forest can still be revived and restored to its original state in a very short period of time point. Because of this, they dared to launch large-scale bombings. Bai Xuan kept dodging the incoming shockwaves and debris, sometimes flying in the air, sometimes hiding in the remaining forest, out of sight. Is it necessary? Bai Xuan felt extremely helpless. In the end, Bai Xuan flew over the neighboring countries and breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, I fly fast, otherwise I would have fallen into their hands. Bai Xuan suffered some skin injuries and lost a lot of feathers. Thanks to his divine perception, he avoided most of the damage. After the fighter jets bombed, rocket launchers from a distance followed closely and bombed again. The lethality of carpet bombing is huge. Nowadays, no mutant creature can withstand this kind of attack. It has to either hide or escape in order to have a chance of survival. Most of the mutated creatures did not understand the situation and did not know what it was, and were eventually bombed to death out of curiosity. There are also those who survived by chance, but very few. These will be one of the main forces in restoring the mountains in the future. The originally vibrant mountains are now in a terrible mess. The ground is riddled with holes, and the trees have been blasted to the point of losing their roots. It was so terrifying. Bai Xuan was shocked when he looked at the scene in front of him. My guess was indeed correct. Mountains are not suitable for survival. Run fast, or you'll be blown up to pieces. At the same time, Tiger Mother and Huda also came here. This time they had a rich harvest, with dozens of low-grade spiritual stones and 3 medium-grade spiritual stones, which were enough for them to absorb for a long time. What the hell happened? Huda looked at the scene in front of him, and was frightened to death. His eyes revealed fear. If he stayed in the Daxing Mountains, he would definitely be blown to pieces. Fortunately, we escaped. The Tiger Mother was also furious and felt lucky. This is a masterpiece of mankind. Bai Xuan replied after a moment of silence. Humans actually master this kind of power. Who? Da was so shocked that his jaw dropped. Humans are far more powerful than he imagined, and at the same time, they are far more ruthless than them. It exploded at will, blowing up the entire mountain range beyond recognition. We still know very little about human beings, so it's better not to provoke them for the time being. Tiger Mother expressed her inner thoughts. That's right. We are not the opponent of human beings right now. If you feel aggrieved, just be aggrieved. It is better than being killed. As long as you are alive, anything is possible in the future. Bai Xuan slightly agreeing with Tiger Mother's statement. Now that the spiritual energy recovery has entered its second stage, who can say for sure in the future, there will definitely be a battle between humans and mutated creatures. This battle will determine future development and even life and death. It is possible that the Dragon Kingdom will set aside an area for mutant creatures to survive, sign an agreement, establish a boundary line, and be able to live in peace for a period of time. Or, the ferocious beasts are kept in captivity, just like in the novel about cultivating immortals. The monsters stay in one place and become a place for monks to kill monsters and level up. It's also possible that the opposite is true, and that humans are being kept in captivity. What will happen in the future depends on the development of both parties. Does the beast have a leader? If they can only kill each other, then the situation will be very difficult. With a leader, the beast can unite and launch a beast-tide point. After all, there is strength in numbers. Bai Xuan doesn't know what the outcome will be. Now he can only do his best to improve his own strength so that he can be qualified to live in the future. The law of the jungle, survival of the fittest, and the law of the jungle will become increasingly cruel in the future. Why? Is there no harm here? Dad asked the doubt in his heart. As a matter of sovereignty, an explosion here will easily cause dissatisfaction or even start a war, so there is no such thing. To put it simply, it is almost the same as having your territory invaded by other powerful predators. Bai Xuan answered. Then, why didn't the country here explode? Huda continued to ask. Maybe it's because of the vast land and sparsely populated areas. I'm not sure about this. The reason is complicated and cannot be explained at the moment. Furthermore, Bai Xuan is not from the Xian kingdom. Bai Xuan doesn't know what they think. It is also possible that the West cannot solve the problem and does not have the energy to take care of the Far East. The Far East has an extremely cold environment and is quite large. For various reasons, it has not been bombed for the time being. The Xian country has the largest nuclear weapons in the world, and it is possible that it will level the entire Far East in a desperate situation. However, it is still within a controllable range and is unlikely. Nuclear weapons cannot be released casually. Therefore, there is a high probability that nuclear weapons will not be used now. Chapter 43 News Network, Frost Eagle. Will this happen again in the future? Huda continued to ask, deeply admiring Bai Xuan's knowledge. He knows humans very well. If Bai Xuan hadn't taken them away, he would be one of the cannon fodder in the mountains now. You should, but the most important thing now is to improve your own strength. It is the last word, to have a hard fist, so that you can face the difficulties and catastrophes in the future. Bai Xuan took the trouble to answer Huda's questions. The world is not peaceful now, and only those with strong strength are qualified to live. The same is true for human beings. Who will have the last laugh is unknown. Huda wanted to continue asking, but was interrupted by Tiger Mother. How can you ask so well? Xiao Bei is almost impatient with your questions. I don't want to know more about the current situation. Huda replied aggrievedly. It doesn't matter, I don't mind, but now it's better for us to hurry up and join Huzi and the others. We can talk about this later, when we have time. Bai Xuan guessed that Xiang Jiuo was dealing with matters in the western Siberia. We can't control the Far East now. As long as we do our best to improve our own strength during this period and pay attention to things in other regions, we can avoid this disaster. Okay, let's set off. Huda nodded heavily. The Tiger Mother also misses the Tiger Son very much and desperately wants to see her to confirm whether he is safe and how he is growing up. Xiao Bei, please lead the way. Huzi and Huda are the first two children born to the Tiger Mother. She loves these two children very much, and they are both her own flesh and blood. Okay, let's go. In this way, Bai Xuan led Tiger Mother and Huda towards the north. Welcome to the Central News Network. Today, the second spiritual energy tide erupted. The military carried out large-scale bombings on the Daxing Mountains, Xiaoxing Mountains, Changbei Mountains and other mountains and forests. A full 70% of the mutated creatures were wiped out, creating the Dragon Kingdom. Gained a lot of valuable time. Faced with what happened today, the internet is in a state of quarrel. Animal protection organizations said it was unacceptable. Some people think it is too much and should not be so cruel. However, most still unconditionally support the country's approach. Kill well. Those mutated animals are like mad dogs. Although they have become smarter, they are not humane. It's okay to kill each other, but attacking people when you see them is absolutely not allowed. Humans always come first, and everything else is its floating clouds. What you said is too extreme and one-sided. My potato is a mutated creature. It will protect me and my family without hesitation. We should treat each other as equals instead of thinking that we are superior. Those who threaten the safety of the Dragon Kingdom must be killed. We must not be merciful. If those mutated creatures can coexist peacefully with us, we will be very happy, but there is no way. They are ferocious and wild. They are even more terrifying than before and threatening us for human safety. It must be eliminated. It is true that we are good friends with friendly and docile animals, but those who are cruel and murderous are enemies. Animals are also alive and have their own way of life. We should not hurt them in this way. At the same time, there are also docile animals in the mountains. We should not generalize and slap them all to death. Then what do you think we should do? Find them one by one. It's really funny. I think there is a better way to solve this problem. This is too cruel. Humans are far more cruel than animals. Silly bee who acts like a fool. If you really don't want to be a human being, just go stay in the mountains and forests. Talk to them about morality and etiquette, and see if they will listen to you. Why should I listen to you? Swearing is so incompetent. During the second spiritual energy tide, humans gained a large amount of spiritual energy resources. Transport trucks filled with spiritual stones and spiritual plants were transported one by one from all over the country to the central government for control and distribution, giving priority to those warriors with high talents. There are countless demon cores, and ferocious beasts are also being bred. The ferocious beasts provided for training, as well as warriors, are growing at an extremely fast rate. Several second-level warriors have been born, and 2 of them have awakened supernatural powers. Both of them have elemental attributes, wind and fire. They are teaching, live on the official website, and they are showing the terrifying power and strength of the second level. More and more people are becoming warriors, and they are all controlled by the state. After all, it is absolutely not allowed to have this kind of power, to do evil and harm society. To protect the country will naturally spend resources on training, and if it is burned, killed, and looted, it can be dealt with according to the law. Small town Point Dahuang stayed at the door of the house as always, looking after the home, and the courtyard Point the second spiritual energy tide broke out. The spiritual energy was rich, and the mutated creatures were more or less improved in level Point. The same is true for Rhubarb Point after the spiritual energy tide broke out. His level broke through the second level Point. His body size became larger again. 8 meters long Point. His fangs became sharper and sharper. Bone spurs grew on his spine Point. The hair on his limbs gradually changed from yellow to red Point. The changes were huge and completely helpless. Think of the current Rhubarb together. Even if Dahuang is lying docilely at the door without any hostility, others will not dare to approach. Since the evolution of Rhubarb, fewer and fewer people have come to visit. Now some people are even passing by on the road less than 100 meters away from their homes. They are so frightened that they sit down on the ground. Yellow liquid leaks from their crotches, and they urinate in fear. The child was so frightened that he screamed and cried. Point in this regard, Dahuang, Bai Yap, and Bai Mu were very helpless. They were fine before. They were relatively small and could be brought home and locked in their rooms. Now I can only enter the door, but cannot go up the stairs, and the same is true for the door. But the space is limited. Dahuang feels uncomfortable staying there, and the same goes for Bai Yao and Bai Mu staying on the first floor. At the same time, Bai Yao was sitting on the small bench, scrolling through her phone, watching the video, and understanding the current situation. Point with a deeper understanding, she seemed to have discovered Bai Xuan's identity and the reason why he did not recognize her, and she felt mixed emotions. Bai Xuan is ranked first in the Dragon Kingdom's list of exotic beasts, codenamed Frost Eagle, and has become famous. It has gone viral all over the internet. There are a lot of video explanations, and Bai Xuan's opinions are mixed. Bai Xuan killed many soldiers in the mountains. He has also helped humans, and the town is one of them. In order not to arouse suspicion, Bai Xuan helped many people and eliminated many strange beasts on his way back to the mountains. Some people think that the military provoked Bai Xuan first, and it is normal for them to fight back, while others think that, as long as Bai Xuan hurts someone, he must die. There was a lot of quarrel about this. There are many people who marvel at Bai Xuan's terrifying talent and strength. After military investigation, it was found that Bai Xuan is the first second-level ferocious beast that has also awakened the ice attribute. Without relying on external objects, Bai Xuan can be said to be invincible, and no creature can defeat it. Sister Yap, is there any news about Brother Bai? Dahuang lay on the ground, barked twice, and looked at Bai Yap. In the past, Rhubarb could stay outside, but now he spends most of his time in the living room on the first floor. It is very crowded and uncomfortable, and he can only go out if someone takes him with him. But there is nothing that can be done about it. Let's wait for the military arrangements later. After all, as the level gets higher and higher and the body gets bigger, you can't stay here forever. It's too scary. Chapter 44 One-Horned Thunder Tiger, Shadow Raven. It's okay, don't worry. Bai reached out and rubbed Da Huang's head, comforting him. The collar around Da Huang's neck recorded it, so he couldn't say anything more to avoid unnecessary trouble. After Bai learned about the situation in the Daxing Mountains, she felt worried and mixed feelings. She was worried about Bai Xuan's condition, whether he was injured, or the mixed feelings are about the issue of stance. In this case, they might meet on the battlefield in the future, which she doesn't want to see. By the way, Bai has become a warrior and was admitted to the military academy. Da Huang nodded slightly, slowly closed his eyes, and lay on the ground to sleep. He understood what Bai meant, so he didn't ask any more questions. At the same time, the heart of the Far East Point, the snow is capped, the wind is biting, and the cold season has entered Point due to the revival of spiritual energy. It is getting colder this year. Bai Xuan relied on his spiritual consciousness, aerial view, and supervision to quickly find Huzi and Xiaohui, and brought Huda and Huma here. When the second spiritual energy tide broke out, Huzi and Xiaohui seized the opportunity, obtained a large amount of resources, and their strength was greatly improved. Huzi's level reached the second and third stages, with a body length of 15 meters, a single horn on his forehead that turned dark purple, and the original black lines turned into dark blue, making him more powerful and domineering. Point the cave is covered with various animal skins and hair, and the tiger is lying on it, sleeping soundly. There are mountains of white bones piled up in the corners of the cave. As Huzi grew larger and larger, the ordinary cave could no longer accommodate Huzi, so he found a suitable cave and expanded it with his bare hands until it was suitable for living. There is a bird's nest next to Huzi, and Xiaohui stays in the nest to sleep. I was too tired some time ago, so I need to take a good rest these days. Xiaohui also successfully advanced to the second level, but only one level of the second level. Point suddenly Huzi and Xiaohui opened their eyes fiercely. It's Xiao Bai, and my mother and eldest brother. As expected, Brother Bai brought them all here. Huzi and Xiaohui got up and ran out of the cave. Point what came into view was an eagle and two tigers. Bai Xuan squatted on the tiger's head and came face to face with Xiaohui and Huda. 3 tigers and 2 birds. After looking at each other for a moment, Huzi ran towards Tiger Mother. Huzi and Bai Xuan like two fools. Mom, eldest brother, Brother Bai, you are finally here. I miss you so much. The tiger mother was frightened by her son. Huzi, you have grown so big, my mother almost doesn't recognize you. Originally, the tiger mother was worried that the tiger cub would not be able to eat well, but now it seems that she was worrying too much. With her size, she could tell at a glance that the food was extremely good. Damn it, how did you get so big? Who? Dad was also startled, and his hair almost exploded. This size was really terrifying, and the aura on his body was also very powerful. Mom, eldest brother, Brother Bai, it's great to see you. Huzi rubbed his head against Tiger Mother, Huda, and Bai Xuan. Mom, I miss you too. Tiger Mom replied, it's so disgusting. Huda replied inappropriately, you still haven't changed at all. Huzi smiled and didn't care, or maybe he was used to it. Well, let's talk and I won't interrupt you. Bai Xuan gave them, mother and son, 3 tigers sometime to reminisce. Bai Xuan flapped his wings and flew to Xiaohui. Brother Hei, how have you been during this time? I've appraisal presents information about Xiaohui and Huzi. Race, One-Horned Thunder Tiger. Level, Stage 2 and Stage 3. Attribute, Thunder and Lightning. Race, Shadow Raven. Level 2 and Level 1. Attribute, Dark. Xiaohui's talent is a bit lower, but because he is the first batch of mutated creatures, his level has also reached the second level, and his awakened attribute power can be ranked in the middle and upper reaches nowadays. Hughes's talent is higher much. He is in the second and third levels. He is huge and powerful. He has also awakened the lightning attribute. There is no doubt that he is in the upper reaches. Even very close to the top point there are very few alien beasts that can threaten them unless they encounter a group of people and they are unable to defeat them with just 2 fists. But with Bai Xuan covering them, there is no need to worry too much about these. Is plenty of food here. After the second spiritual energy tide came, we took the lead and obtained a lot of resources. We were living well, but it was just a little colder. Hughes's guy has rough skin and thick flesh, so it didn't affect me. It's a bit embarrassing. It's so cold that I don't even want to go out hunting. Ziohedi didn't want to go out to hunt, and the tiger also brought food back for him to eat, but Ziohedi just casually said that he would still go out to hunt. The tiger has a big appetite and eats a lot of food every day. Help is much easier. Flying high in the sky, he uses his supervision to find prey, informs Yuzi, and then hunts them together. Most of them are exotic animals from the tribe. Ziohei cooperates with Yuzi, and under a pincer attack, he can quickly kill a large number of prey. Filling your stomach is also the time when your body grows. You must not go hungry. Ziohei still wanted to rely on Yuzi to protect him. How about I bring you food and you can stay at home safely? Bai Xuan laughed. Bai Xuan could easily catch this food point, but Bai Xuan just said it casually. Now is the time to improve his strength, so he can slack off. Otherwise it will be difficult to save his life. Bai Xuan cannot protect Ziohei all the time. He also has his own things to do. Then forget it. In fact, it's just a little uncomfortable at first, and it will get better after a while. Ziohei smiled bitterly, waved his wings, and refused. That's right. By the way, how is the situation here? Are there any powerful strange beasts? There are quite a lot. There are about 300 to 400 of them at the second level now. There will be more in the future. After all, the spiritual energy is getting stronger and stronger. As the level goes up, the number will naturally become more and more. Ziohei told the situation in this area. Ziohei didn't know about other areas. He was almost unable to handle this area. Ziohei had no time to pay attention to the mutated creatures in other areas. Then, you have to pay more attention to safety. If you can't fight them, run away. Then come to me, and I will teach them a lesson for you. Bai Xuan nodded lightly, while not forgetting to remind him a few words. Ziohei's strength is in the middle and upper reaches, and it is very dangerous to encounter raptors with a higher level than him. I will. By the way, what about the mountains? There are a lot of strange beasts. There should be thousands of them in the second level. There may only be a few left. Humans launched large-scale bombings, and the mountains were almost destroyed. The alien beasts naturally suffered heavy casualties. I guess. At least they are dead. 80%. Bai Xuan smiled bitterly. That bombing was very terrifying. It was the first time for Bai Xuan to witness the whole process with his own eyes. The smell of burning and blood was everywhere. Human beings are too powerful, right? Ziohei couldn't believe it. The mountains were almost blown away. How powerful this is. Chapter 45. Advance to the third level and release spiritual energy. Ziohei chatted with Bai Xuan for a while. Yuzi came to Bai Xuan after reminiscing about the past. Brother Bai, we have grabbed a lot of spiritual stones in the past 2 days. I will get them for you right away. Yuzi took out all the spiritual stones in the cave and placed them in front of Bai Xuan. Ziohei also took out 3 middle grade spiritual stones and placed them on the ground. Bai, you are much more talented than us. You hold these spiritual stones, and we are counting on you to protect us. Bai Xuan looked at the densely packed spiritual stones on the ground. Most of them were low-grade spiritual stones, 1 high-grade spiritual stone, and 6 medium-grade spiritual stones. After grabbing these spiritual stones, Yuzi and Ziohei spent a lot of energy. Actually, I grabbed a lot of spiritual stones, which are enough. You should keep these for yourself. Bai Xuan did not accept these spirit stones. On the one hand, he had obtained a lot of spirit stones. He would have to absorb these spirit stones in the next few months. It was enough. On the other hand, Bai Xuan has already regarded Ziohei and Yuzi as friends, so he will not accept them. At the same time, in the future, Yuzi and Zio gang will need their own help to compete for resources with other ferocious beasts. Therefore, their levels need to be lifted up. Since I promised you that I will do it, please accept it more or less. By the way, this spiritual stone contains the most energy and is very helpful to you. Brother Bai, just accept it. Come on, Hughesy. Picked out the top grade spiritual stone and gave it to Bai Xuan. Bai Xuan saved the lives of his mother and eldest brother. Hughesy was very grateful, but he was still reluctant to give all his resources to Bai Xuan. But when he said it, he would do what he promised before. No matter what happens, Bai Xuan must accept this high-grade spiritual stone. Xiao Bai, take it. Anyway, the energy contained in this spirit stone is too huge for us to absorb, so you can use it to its maximum effect. Xiao. Hey, persuaded. In this case, I would rather obey your orders than to be respectful. Bai Xuan nodded lightly and finally accepted this high-grade spiritual stone. 10,000 evolution points, this is not a small amount, plus the 2 he obtained before. Bai Xuan now has 3 high-grade spiritual stones, so it is 30,000 evolution points. Next, Bai Xuan prepares to retreat, absorb these spiritual stones, and advance to the 3rd level. After a while, Bai Xuan said hello and flew away. Go find a suitable retreat. 3 months later. Race, Frost Giant Eagle. Level, 3 stages and 5 stages. Skills, 3rd level spiritual skills. Heavy ice claws, intermediate level, extremely cold spiritual wings, low level, 3rd level spiritual consciousness, intermediate level, ice feather hegemony, intermediate level, extreme cold wing blades, intermediate level, cold ice flying blade intermediate level Xuan and ice rain, intermediate level, extreme cold storm, intermediate level. System skills, Eye of identification, communication with living beings, swallowing the sky and the earth, pressure of death, good size, immunity to poison. Evolution point, left curly bracket 5,000/60,000 right square bracket. The level jumped from the 2nd level and 9th level to the 3rd level and the 5th level point. After absorbing the spirit stones, a total of 90,000 evolution points were obtained. After spending 90,000 evolution points, the level was upgraded to 3 stages and 3 stages. After absorbing the energy contained in the spirit stones, it was upgraded to levels to 3 stages and 5 stages. Physical fitness, consciousness, ice power, skills, vision, hearing, smell, etc. have all been greatly improved. The flight speed exceeds the speed of sound, 340 meters per second. This is all due to the degree of super control of the spiritual energy and the strength of the body. The wings release spiritual energy, generate thrust, and achieve supersonic flight. His body can withstand it, but it consumes a lot of spiritual energy. Bai Xuan can fly at supersonic speed for 2.5 hours. Don't underestimate these 2.5 hours. It covers more than 1,200 kilometers. 2.5 hours is almost 3,000 kilometers. At the 3rd level, you can also release spiritual energy and carry out long distance attacks. Snow-capped peaks, biting cold. In caves, Bai Xuan opened his eyes, finished practicing, and felt a huge power in his body. Is this the 3rd level? It is worthy of being the 3rd level, not comparable to the 2nd level at all. After evolution, Bai Xuan's body shape and appearance have changed. It is 11 meters long and has a wingspan of 29 meters. The appearance also changed, with a pair of sharp golden eyes, and the eagle talons remained the same as before. The feathers on the wings and body are gradient colors, with light blue on the inside and pure white on the outer third. The eagle's beak is pure white, and a dark blue crystal grows on its forehead, with bright white ice patterns on both sides. The eagle's beak is pure white, and a dark blue crystal grows on its forehead, with bright white ice patterns on both sides. Tail feathers are like sharp swords, extremely hard and sharp, and also have a gradient color, from blue to white. Bai Xuan stretched, and flew to the entrance of the cave, overlooking the snow-covered forest below. Suddenly, he flapped his wings and a small tornado roared out. It was also mixed with ice cones, and its lethality could be imagined. Immediately afterwards, Bai Xuan waved out more than a dozen flying ice blades with his wings, making dozens of swish, swish, and swish sounds. After a while, the flying ice blades flew 1,000 meters away and finally dispersed. This also means that Bai Xuan already has long-range attacks. I've been in retreat this time. It should be 2 or 3 months. After that, Bai Xuan flapped his wings and flew away, heading towards the place where Huzi and the others lived. Bai Xuan flew at supersonic speed in the air, becoming more and more skilled. Then he contracted his wings and dived towards the ground like a bolt of lightning. Condensation clouds appeared. When he was less than 50 meters away from the ground, Bai Xuan leaned up, spread his wings, and flew up, flying over the forest. The wind roared, and the shock wave spread, huge. The trees were swaying, and snow was falling from the trees. Bai Xuan flew to the residence of Huzi and Xiaohei, and also brought 2 huge mutant deer, threw them to the ground, shrunk their bodies, and stood on the corpses. These 2 mutated deer are both at the 2nd level. During the period of seclusion, there were more and more ferocious beasts. There were already more than 1,000 beasts in the 2nd level. It would take some time before the 3rd level appeared. Rats are rampant, swarming in densely packed groups, and there are also many birds. The most dazzling among insects are ant colonies, tens of thousands of them, terrifying in number and terrifying in strength. The largest ones are about the size of a car. They have already adapted to the cold environment. At the same time, there are also many spiritual plants, most of which have been born with spiritual wisdom, and a few have not been born with spiritual wisdom, but they contain huge spiritual energy, which is similar to the treasures of heaven and earth in the world of cultivating immortals, and they have various effects when used. Xiaobei, have you been promoted? Xiaohei flew out hurriedly of the cave, and looked at Bai Xuan dumbfounded. Not long after they advanced to the 2nd level, Bai Xuan had already advanced to the 3rd level. The terrifying aura on Bai Xuan's body, even if he deliberately restrained it, had a huge frightening effect on them, making Xiaohei's body tremble uncontrollably. It is also very simple to judge the 3rd level. Bai Xuan was already at the 2nd level before. Now that there has been a big change, he must have been promoted to the 3rd level. And it is not without reason that Bai Xuan can be recognized at first sight. After all, Bai Xuan is the only Raptoran beast in the entire area, so he can be easily recognized. Chapter 46 The 3 Tigers Change, the 3 Parties. Yes, Bai Xuan did not deny it. Even if you deny it, no one will believe it. The aura is just there. There are also changes in itself, which can be easily seen. It's amazing. It's only been so long, and you've grown to this point. Xiaohei felt extremely envious and infuriated when comparing others to others. In the past 3 months, Xiaohei has only improved to 2 levels, far behind Huzi, Huda, and Humom. Even Huda and Humar, who were originally lagging behind it, have surpassed it. Huzi has even stepped into the 2nd stage and 7th stage, absorbing spirit stones like crazy. In this area, except for Bai Xuan, who works alone, few ferocious beasts can beat a tiger. Let's not talk about this anymore. By the way, have the tigers gone hunting? Seeing this scene, Bai Xuan quickly changed the topic. Yes, they went hunting. Xiaohei nodded slightly. And it stays in the cave, absorbs spiritual stones, and improves its own level. As there are more and more ferocious beasts, and tiger cubs are as big as tigers, it won't take long for tiger mothers to fill their stomachs without having to look down from the air to find prey. Afterwards, Bai Xuan invited Xiaohei to dinner. These 2 giant deer were a great tonic and good for keeping him warm. Xiaohei and Bai Xuan were eating a giant deer and chatting. Xiaohei told Bai Xuan everything he had learned during this period. There are 3 powerful forces in this area. The first one is the Earth Barbarian Bear Group, which are mutated from brown bears. They are huge, fat and strong. Their defense and attack power are top notch at the same level. The leader is a 2nd level and 7th level Earth Savage Bear with a bad temper, immense strength, and a huge appetite. He can eat more than 10 tons of flesh and blood a day, even the same kind. Ranked 2nd is the group of highly poisonous black ants. The queen possesses the 2nd and 6th levels. She has tens of thousands of soldier ants under her command. She obeys her orders. She is huge in power and terrifying in strength. She is also a restricted area. Even the tiger ants can't. Don't dare to get close. Ranked 3rd is the Siberian snow wolf group. They are agile, have a keen sense of smell, hearing, and vision. They live in groups. There are thousands of them. They reproduce very quickly and naturally require a lot of food. The Wolf King is at the 2nd and 6th stage, commanding the wolf pack. and becoming the king point after the second spiritual energy tide came. The beast grew at a terrifying speed. It was normal to have such a size. I don't know what's going on in other areas. This number is terrifying. Bai Xuan couldn't help but sigh. There are huge numbers, and if they join forces to launch a beast tide, it will be a very difficult thing for humans. Humans must have thought of this situation and must have been planning a response. So you must always be vigilant to avoid being attacked unprepared. Even tigers don't dare to provoke them. Xiao Hei nodded in agreement. These three forces, Xiao Hei, Huzi, Huda, and Tiger Mother all stayed away when they saw them, not wanting to cause unnecessary trouble. It's possible to fight a tiger alone, but why do you want to fight alone when you can fight in a group? There is a huge disparity in numbers, and it is difficult for two fists to defeat four people. Fighting with them will only lead to death. Did humans do anything during this period? Yes. Almost every 7 or 8 days, there will be several steel behemoths flying over the sky. I have seen them on TV. They seem to be called planes. Xiao Hei had stayed with the ranger for a while before. After seeing something made by humans, he hid instead of confronting him head on. Bai Xuan guessed what Xiao Hei was talking about. It should be a fighter jet or something like that. No ferocious beast could threaten a fighter jet flying at high altitude and supersonic speed. Even Bai Xuan was powerless, however, using tactics and his own agility to the extent that the other party can't do anything to him. If he launches an attack, Bai Xuan is 50% sure that he can destroy it. However, this is not applicable to all fighter jets and is only useful for some older fighter jets. It should be a fighter jet. Did it launch an attack? Yes. Dozens of shells are dropped every time, specifically to blast wolves, bears, and ant colonies. They do not deliberately attack us. Xiao Hei replied that this approach is understandable. After all, the three ethnic groups are the greatest threats and the most dense. Naturally, if you want to bomb them, you must bomb them in large numbers to maximize the effect. I see. For safety reasons, it's better not to provoke humans as much as possible. At least it's not the time yet. Bai Xuan explained a few words. If Xiao Hei and the others provoke humans, they will only die. They are more dangerous than those three forces, and Bai Xuan didn't take those three forces seriously. The second level and the third level were not at the same level at all. What's more, Bai Xuan was in the third level and fifth level. Those ethnic groups could only become Bai Xuan's food, or his younger brother. Bai Xuan worked hard. Okay. Xiao Hei and the others all know how powerful humans are. They can blow up an entire mountain range beyond recognition. How can they compete with it? At least they are far from being a match for humans now, and they still need to grow up for a while. At the same time, they believe that this situation will be reversed soon, and what they need to do is to do their best to improve their level and strength, and avoid conflicts with humans. At the same time, Huzi, Tiger Mother, and Huda came back from hunting. He also brought back some food specifically for Xiao Hei, which were several giant grey rabbits. He held them in his mouth and came towards this direction unhurriedly. After seeing Bai Xuan, they were slightly stunned. After recognizing Bai Xuan, they accelerated towards Bai Xuan and Xiao Hei. Bai Xuan changed so much that they were a little shocked. The closer they were, the more they could feel the terrifying aura, and they were even more shocked. If they hadn't known that the eagle in front of them was Bai Xuan, they would most likely have been so frightened that they would have trembled and run away. Brother Bai, Brother Bai. Huzi and Huda started calling Bai Xuan from a distance. Huzi was even more excited, running towards this side with a silly smile, like a large clingy cat. Huzi was, it seems, much calmer. The tiger son is the largest, with a body length of 17 meters. The tiger body is 15 meters long. The tiger mother is smaller, but also has a huge body of 14 meters. Three behemoths are running towards this side. The ground is shaking, and the mountains are shaking. Full of strength. At the same time, Tiger Mother and Tiger Mother have also awakened their attributes. Tiger Mother has the ice attribute, and the original black lines have turned into light blue, while Tiger Mother has the wind attribute, with azure lines, and both have one horn. Xiao Bai, long time no see, have you been promoted? Tiger Mother squatted on the snow. The same goes for the other two tigers. Three huge tigers squatted on the snow, looking at Bai Xuan, a little strange. Those who didn't know thought that the 3 huge tigers were bullying 2 weak birds. Bai Xuan didn't care, but Zhao had already become accustomed to it. However, their racial talents are really high. They can have such a huge body at the 2nd level. Isn't it as big as a big mountain at the 4th, 5th or 5th level? Yes. Promoted. Damn, that's awesome, Brother Bai. By the way, Brother Bai, how strong is the 3rd level? What abilities have you mastered? Husey was very curious. When he was promoted from the 1st level to the 2nd level, a qualitative leap occurred. If the 2nd level was promoted to the 3rd level, he would definitely be stronger. Chapter 47 Snow Wolf King. 2 choices. Bai Xuan showed them the strength of the 3rd level point without exception. They all exclaimed. The 3rd level was indeed ridiculously strong. Huda, who is also an ice attribute, understands the gap between, and Bai Xuan best. Huda is stronger and calmer, and is determined to catch up with Bai Xuan, or even surpass him. After Bai Xuan chatted with them for a while, he said hello and left. I'm going to meet one of the 3 forces for a while. If it is obedient, it is not impossible to accept it as a younger brother. If it is not obedient, it will have to eat them all. At the same time, after the 2nd spiritual energy tide came, there was a lot of spiritual energy scattered everywhere, many of which contained high-grade spiritual stones. This was a large amount of evolutionary points. Naturally, Bai Xuan would not miss this opportunity to improve his level. The Siberian Snow Wolf group is the territory of the wolf pack. There are thousands of wolves gathered here. Most of them are female wolves. Other snow wolves hunt and bring back food to support the pups and the female wolf. The Snow Wolf King lay on the snow and rested with his eyes closed. Surrounded by dozens of female wolves. The strength is not weak. The highest level is in the 2nd and 3rd stages, and the lowest is in the 1st and 7th stages. These are the spouses of the Snow Wolf King. Naturally, there are many cubs, and they have the blood of the Snow Wolf King. There are hundreds of cubs. The cubs were playing in the snow, chasing and jumping, having a great time. With the Wolf King sitting here, it is very safe, and there are only 2 groups that dare to provoke it, the ant group and the wild bear group. With the birth of spiritual intelligence, their IQs have skyrocketed. They already have a complete survival system with clearly defined hierarchies. Without enough strength, they cannot find a mate. Male wolves also choose more powerful female wolves as mates, giving birth to more talented pups. Naturally, the training will not be any worse. The next generation will be stronger, and they are of biological blood. They are more trustworthy, and can better gain a foothold in the ethnic group. Those weak snow wolves will most likely be left alone, or leave the group, leave the territory, and find mates elsewhere. However, there are many powerful ferocious beasts now, who dominate the mountains, and have their own territories. If they leave the wolf pack, it will be difficult for them to hunt prey. They may even become prey, and be killed and eaten, before they even catch the prey. Even though they all have good intelligence, they still want to have their own offspring, and they are working hard to move in this direction, not daring to relax, and working hard to improve their level and strength. Suddenly, the Snow Wolf King opened his eyes suddenly, as if he noticed something. His hearing was very sensitive, and he could hear the slightest movement within 1,000 meters. Wolf King, what happened? The leading female wolf stepped forward, and she was the eldest wife of the Wolf King, and her status was second only to the Snow Wolf King. The other female the wolves also became vigilant, calling their cubs to come to them, protecting them under their bodies, and looking around vigilantly, to deal with incoming dangers anytime and anywhere. The Snow Wolf group is indeed very powerful, but there are 2 more powerful forces than them, the Black Ant group and the Barbarian Bear group. Because of this, they are always vigilant. Only by staying with the Snow Wolf King can they relax a little. There's a big one coming towards us. The Snow Wolf King is 14 meters long, with pure white hair and golden pupils that blend in with the white snow. There is a cold air all over his body, and his thick hair explodes. He assumed a fighting stance, his eyes were cold and alert, his teeth were bared, and he was ready to deal with incoming enemies at any time. Immediately afterwards, the sound of air explosions resounded through the sky, and a light blue figure flew towards the ground at supersonic speed. After a moment, it landed on the ground, with the aftermath rippling, and white snow flying. Then, a gust of wind came, blowing away the flying snow that covered the figure. The owner of the figure was revealed and appeared in their field of vision. It is a huge eagle, standing taller than the Snow Wolf King, with sharp eyes, as if it can penetrate their souls. Are you the Snow Wolf King? It's me. What do you want from me? Snow Wolf King felt the powerful aura of the giant eagle in front of him, and immediately lost his temper, and became loud and angry. Now, I give you two choices. Either surrender to me, or be killed by me. You choose it yourself. Bai Xuan got straight to the point, and gave the Snow Wolf King two choices. Life or death was in its own hands. This is too overbearing. You and I have never met each other. Even if I agree to be your little brother, can you trust me? I think we can cooperate, help each other, and achieve win-win cooperation. Wouldn't it be better for both parties? What the Snow Wolf King said was reasonable and well-founded. It was unwilling to submit to other races. It wanted to make it submit to at least the same kind. Further, this is not something that the alpha wolf can decide. You have to look at the thoughts of the other leading wolves. After all, they are not weak, and major matters still need to be discussed. Snow Wolf King is still aware of this kind of thing. If he doesn't get it right, he will unite to beat him, or start a group war, and the gain will outweigh the loss. The wolves also have their own system. Strength is part of it, as well as intelligence. Only when they can lead the wolves to higher heights will they be willing to surrender to the Wolf King. And if there is a leading wolf that is stronger than the Wolf King, it can challenge and defeat the Wolf King. Only then can it be recognized by other snow wolves and take its place as the new Wolf King. Because of this, the Wolf King is still under a lot of pressure. Fortunately, the Snow Wolf King has excellent talents, high authority, and many resources. As long as he doesn't mess around, he can still hold the position of Wolf King for a long time. When the other female wolves and cubs saw this scene, some were so frightened that they trembled and did not dare to breathe. Others had ugly expressions, with worries and anger in their eyes, and did not speak. Just let the Snow Wolf King negotiate with them. This is the responsibility of the Wolf King. There are only two choices, surrender or die. This is your last chance. You have to think clearly. Bai Xuan spoke forcefully, and did not give Snow Wolf King any other choice. At the same time, it exuded its own coercion, accurately pressing on the Snow Wolf King. The Snow Wolf King felt as if a huge mountain was pressing down on him. His limbs were weak and trembling. He gritted his teeth and struggled to support his body. The surrounding snow was compressed and moved around. The Snow Wolf King's body sank rapidly and finally touched the land. The same was true for the land, which was compacted, and the Snow Wolf King's body moved downwards. After a moment of silence, the Snow Wolf King replied, "Even if I agree to you, other snow wolves may not agree. What will you do then? What do you think I will do?" Bai Xuan lowered his head and looked at Snow Wolf King with cold eyes and strong killing intent exuding from his body. Snow Wolf King naturally understood what Bai Xuan meant. "Okay, I promise you, but you have to give me some time to convince the other snow wolves. If it doesn't work, just deal with it how you want." "Okay, I'll give you time, but only for one day. By the way, don't even think about escaping. I've already memorized the aura on your body. If you dare to run away, you will be responsible for the consequences." Chapter 48 Pretending to be stupid, the Black Ant Tribe. When the Snow Wolf King heard this, he felt very aggrieved, but now he could only agree to Bai Xuan and wait until the leader wolf comes back to discuss it before making a decision. By the way, you should have obtained a lot of spiritual stones some time ago. "What? Spirit stone? I don't know what you are talking about." "Don't pretend to be stupid. Hand it over honestly. I really don't know what you're talking about." Naturally, the Snow Wolf King didn't want to hand over the spirit stone, so he pretended to be dumbfounded. The cold air around Bai Xuan's body surged, and a cold spirit blade shot out of the air, flew over the Snow Wolf King's head, and cut off more than a dozen big trees, before dissipating. The big tree fell to the ground with a crash, which frightened the wolves and the Snow Wolf King. "I will give you one last chance. If you still dare to act stupid, my next move will be to chop off your head, just like those big trees. I'll hand it over." "Why don't I hand it over?" Snow Wolf King replied quickly, almost crying but without tears. How could I be so miserable and meet such an unreasonable lord? You are really lying to me. What do you think I should do with you? Should I cut off one of your claws or half of your body? I know I was wrong. I know I was wrong. I won't dare to do it next time. If you have a lot of eagles, please spare me once. The Snow Wolf King was completely frightened and begged for mercy. It still has a great future, but we don't want to die here. It is never too late for a gentleman to take revenge after 10 years. When he has the ability in the future, he vows to take revenge. I will spare you once today, and you will be responsible for the consequences next time. What are you waiting for now? Hurry up and hand over all the spiritual stones. Seeing this scene, Bai Xuan nodded with satisfaction. The Snow Wolf King would hide all the spiritual stones, as well as those on other female wolves, in front of Bai Xuan and place them on the ground, a dense pile of spiritual stones. It seems that they are lucky and have obtained a lot of spiritual stones, but it is absolutely impossible to grow to this point in a short period of time without the blessing of spiritual stones. The Snow Wolf King did not dare to hide it, so he handed over all the spiritual stones, including a high-grade spiritual stone, dozens of medium-grade spiritual stones, hundreds of low-grade spiritual stones, and other wolves that had not returned. For now, can't get it. Seeing that the Snow Wolf King was so sensible, Bai Xuan did not embarrass it anymore. He sucked all the spirit stones into his stomach and said the next sentence, I will be here at this time tomorrow. I hope that by then, you can make the right decision. After that, he flapped his wings and flew away. Wolf King, do we, the wolf tribe, really want to submit to an alien race? Even if we agree, will other wolf leaders agree? I think we should unite to fight against that giant eagle. Otherwise our wolf pack will never get ahead. That's right. That giant eagle cannot be trusted. It just wants to use us. Once the wolves are no longer useful, they will be ruthlessly abandoned or even killed. Several of the Snow Wolf King's spouses asked the Snow Wolf King, and some expressed their thoughts. Hey, that guy should have advanced to the 3rd level. We are no match for him at all. The only way to survive is to pretend to be submissive and surrender, and then take revenge when we have the ability. The Snow Wolf King sighed helplessly. It naturally wanted to do these things, but only by personal experience can we understand the horror of Bai Xuan. It is difficult to even withstand the pressure, let alone the god of war. This is definitely a strength that only the 3rd level can possess. Who is that giant eagle? Level 3. They exclaimed. Although they have never seen a 3rd level ferocious beast, they know that the 3rd level beast is a very terrifying existence, just like they do not take the 1st level and 2nd level beasts seriously. The gap between the 3rd level and the 2nd level will be even greater. Yes, I have a hunch that this is not the strength that the 2nd level can possess. It is very likely that it is the 3rd level. If you don't obey, the consequences can be imagined. Even if we try our best to repel it, we can still withstand a few attacks. Woolen cloth. Keep the green hills, and don't worry about running out of firewood. This is what the Snow Wolf King is thinking now. Bai Xuan came to the 2nd place, the territory of the Black Ant tribe. The huge snow mountain was hollowed out, with dense holes on its surface. After the poisonous black ants grew in size, they were no longer satisfied with building ordinary ant nests. Instead, they hollowed out a hill as an ant nest. These ants were so united that even the number 1 bear group did not dare to build it. Come and provoke him rashly. The black ants, which were about the size of a car, led a large group of ants back to the ant nest and climbed into the hole. The long queue was like a long dragon. These soldier ants are not small in size, and their levels are not low either. They are at least level 1 and level 3, and the ones leading the team are level 2 and level 4. Such a huge team is enough to sweep away most groups of animals that live in groups. They all carry food and can lift prey larger than themselves. Their sharp teeth can tear the flesh and blood of prey, decompose the body, and then bring it back to the ant nest. Bai Xuan hovered in the air and looked at the huge ant colony below. If this force were placed in a human settlement, it would definitely cause a lot of panic, and it would definitely cause many casualties. Indeed, these ants are terrifying in terms of quantity, strength, and defense. They are not afraid of bullets and can even withstand rockets. It is difficult to destroy them. Bai Xuan shrank his body, gathered his breath, and flew towards the ant nest point. Kill a few soldier ants that find you, swallow them in your stomach, and then enter the hole. Swallow mutated black ants. First stage and third stage. Gain 30 evolution points. Black ants. Stage 2 and stage 3. Gain 400 evolution points. Swallow mutated black ants. Level 1 and stage 4. Gain 40 evolution points. Bai Xuan was killing and devouring, and his evolution points were rising at the same time. He released his spiritual consciousness, and it didn't take long to find the location of the Queen Ant point. Bai Xuan has also figured out the layout of the cave and tunnels. It has to be said that these ants are really talented in construction and are very efficient. The ant nest is strong and durable, but the tunnel is twisted and twisted. After the intruder enters, it is difficult to find the exit. At the same time, the security was tight, with soldier ants patrolling. After discovering Bai Xuan's intrusion, they attacked Bai Xuan without any hesitation, but they were all eaten by Bai Xuan. Not long after, the ant colony was alarmed, and ants came towards Bai Xuan's position from the winding tunnel. Xuan came to a cave in the mountain, a spacious open space. The surrounding walls were full of holes, leading to everywhere, and there were also black ants waiting here. After Bai Xuan entered the open space from the entrance of the cave, many black ants crawled out of other cave entrances and surrounded Bai Xuan. Some of them crawled on the wall. A pair of scalded eyes stared at Bai Xuan intently, with murderous intent in their eyes. But they did not take action directly, but waited for orders. The leader, a second stage and fourth stage giant black ant with legs covered with barbs, slowly walked forward and looked at Bai Xuan up and down. Do you know whose territory this is? How dare you trespass? If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 49 Massacre of Ants. Dark moon and high windy night. Bai Xuan's figure flashed past and appeared on the black ant's neck in the blink of an eye. The sharp talons used lightning speed to twist off the black ant's head, then threw it into its mouth and chewed it. When the other black ants saw this scene, they were completely angry. They let out bursts of angry screams and launched themselves into action, rushing toward Bai Xuan like waves. After a while, the entire venue was blocked. Just when the black ants were about to tear Bai Xuan into pieces alive, a cold current struck, freezing all the ants in the field. Then, a cold light suddenly appeared, densely packed and countless. In the blink of an eye, all the black ants frozen in the ice were cut into pieces and fell to the ground one by one. They were piled up, making it impossible to tell who was who. Bai Xuan stood on top of the black ant corpses, opened his eagle's beak, sucked all the corpses into his stomach, and then burped. This should be the road leading to the queen's nest. The system prompts continuously. Swallow mutated black ants. First stage and 8 stages. Gain 80 evolution points. Swallow mutated black ants. Stage 2 and stage 4. Gain 500 evolution points. Swallow the mutated black ants, stage 2 and stage 3, and gain 400 evolution points. Swallow mutated black ants, second stage and second stage, gain 300 evolution points. Bai Xuan jumped into the lowest hole on the left wall, which was a long landslide that led directly to the ant queen's nest. The nest of the queen ant is several hundred meters underground. The tunnels here are quite complicated, and most people really can't get out. After entering after a while, Bai Xuan finally arrived at the queen's nest, and what he saw was a huge white ant. In other words, it is more like a big white bug, surrounded by ant eggs, and hundreds of ants are carrying the ant eggs to other underground nests for hatching. The space here is very large, as big as 5 or 6 football fields. The queen ant is about 10 meters long, lying in the center, motionless. After realizing that the enemy had entered, she suddenly woke up. There was an ant front half at the front of her huge body. The ant queen glared at Bai Xuan, bold. Get out. At this time, it couldn't figure out the current situation, and looked aloof. Other ants protected the queen, and support came from other tunnels. They were densely packed and dark. They were all loyal subjects of the queen, and they obeyed the queen and followed her lead. Bai Xuan's wings braved the cold air and gathered spiritual energy into the wings. When the ants were almost gathered, Bai Xuan launched an attacking, wielding dozens of ice blades, killing and injuring a large number of them with one blow. When the black ants saw this scene, they felt a little timid, but they still braved the situation and attacked Bai Xuan like a wave of darkness. At the same time, the black ants in the rear began to transport the queen's huge body away from the fighting place point. Although the queen ant is large and high level, she does not have much fighting power. She is only responsible for mating with strong ants and laying ant eggs, and there is no need to worry about other things. Eating, drinking, and defecating are all taken care of by other ants. Each ant colony has its own mission, and they do their best to do what they are supposed to do, and do their best to expand the size of the kill it. The queen ant was extremely angry at the intruder Bai Xuan. If ice could eat people, Bai Xuan would have died countless times. Queen ant, please calm down, and don't let your anger break your body. We will definitely kill it, and bring its body to you. You're right. The most important thing now is to evacuate. We must not let the queen be harmed at all. Suddenly, the dark ant colony was sealed by ice, and then a figure rushed out from the ant colony and went straight towards the queen. This figure was Bai Xuan. Bai Xuan gathered his spiritual energy into his legs. After accumulating the energy, he struck the flying ice blade from his legs. The rhombus-shaped scales of this flying ice blade could be vaguely seen. The ice flying blade directly cut the queen ant's huge milky white body in half, and the queen died. See the queen ant die. The anger of the ants reached its peak, and they tried their best to kill Bai Xuan, some from the wall and some from the ground, vowing to tear Bai Xuan into pieces. Otherwise it would be difficult to understand the hatred in their hearts. Bai Xuan was happy to see this situation. It's just the right time. Xuanhan. Ice Rain Extreme Cold Wing Blade Ice Flying Blade Extreme Cold Storm skills are emerging endlessly. This can no longer be called a battle, but a massacre. Large swaths of ferocious beasts died in Bai Xuan's hands, and ants entered continuously from the entrance of the cave, looking like they would not stop dying. An hour later, Bai Xuan sat on the corpse of the black ant. The corpse had already piled up like a mountain, with green blood flowing like a river. Bai Xuan was panting, eating, and killing at the same time. After all, the area of the site was limited. There were too many corpses piled up and other ants couldn't get in. This took away a lot of Bai Xuan's energy. It's finally over. Bai Xuan looked at the mountains of corpses in front of him and sighed helplessly. No matter how small a mosquito is, it's still meat. So you'd better eat it. Anyway, his stomach is a bottomless pit, and it is only a matter of time before he swallows the corpses of these ferocious beasts. Bai Xuan was not in a hurry to eat, but relied on his spiritual consciousness to search for spiritual stones, and found a high-grade spiritual stone in the corpse of the queen ant. Then I found middle-grade spiritual stones in the corpses of other black armored ants, and there were also many spiritual stones under the place where the queen ant had been. There are medium grade and low grade ones, and they should be used to reward ants for their meritorious service. In this way, Bai Xuan spent another hour devouring the ant corpses. It is indeed a large ethnic group, with a large number and huge resources. Bai Xuan burped, touched his belly with his wings, and then flapped his wings, and flew into the hole. After eating and drinking, it's time to leave. This trip was worth it. I also got a lot of spiritual stones from the Snow Wolf clan. In addition, by wiping out a large group, I made a lot of money. After this is resolved, Bai Xuan plans to visit other areas, as well as the sea, and try his best to improve his level. As night falls, the bright moon shines in the sky. Bai Xuan flew slowly in the air and headed towards the cave on the top of the mountain. The dark moon and high winds make it a good time for a surprise attack. Bai Xuan planned to get rid of the wild bear tribe in one go. Just do what he said. Bai Xuan headed towards the territory of the wild bear. At the same time, the Snow Wolf group. What? Question mark? You want us to submit to other alien races? I strongly disagree. There are so many wolves in our clan. Do we need to be afraid of a small bird? How ridiculous. Could it be that you are afraid of death and dare not go up to it? In that case, let's handle it ourselves. You can stay here peacefully and wait for our good news. You don't need to fight. The Wolf King cannot lead us to defeat the enemy, so what do we need from the Wolf King? What do you mean? Do you want to challenge the Wolf King and replace him? Then you must have that strength, am I right? Even the Wolf King is greedy for life and afraid of death, so what do we need from the Wolf King? If it doesn't work, let's separate the family. I will take my wolf and go to other places to survive. Let's go to the head office. The leader of the wolf clan, every one of them said something to me. All of them were furious, some even yelled, and even if there were other wolves to stop them, they almost started fighting. Chapter 50 Quarrel, Earth Bear. Shut up. The Snow Wolf King looked unhappy and scolded. How could the majesty of the Wolf King be so challenged? Facing Bai Xuan, it can't beat him and can temporarily avoid the edge point, but how could the Snow Wolf King swallow his anger with these snow wolves who are weaker than him? The Snow Wolf King can give them face, but he must not bite them in the face. After hearing the Snow Wolf King's scolding, the wolves became quiet, but many of the leading wolves were extremely unconvinced. They were right, so why should they shut up? This is what I think in my heart, but on the outside I just keep my mouth shut. I know you are all very angry, but that guy is too strong. I'm not afraid of death, but I don't want to see the tribe perish. The Snow Wolf King sighed helplessly and explained righteously. In fact, it is also afraid of death, but if there is a slight chance of victory, it will still fight with its life point. But there is no chance of victory. Which giant eagle can fly? Even if they are repelled once, how many rounds of attacks can they withstand? Although our wolf clan is not the strongest, we can walk sideways in this area, and even in the entire Far East and Siberia. Therefore, I don't believe that the giant eagle is really that powerful and can defeat our entire wolf pack. Will we be the Wolf King? Are you worrying too much? That's right. I don't believe that there is really such a strong guy who can fight against our entire wolf pack alone. Even if we can't defeat it, we can still survive in other areas. This area is not the only one that can survive. The giant eagle said it has memorized our scent, and if it dares to run away, it will eat us alive. You believe whatever it says? Do you believe it when it says it is a god? It's so funny. I think you just don't have the guts. We have thousands of wolves in the wolf clan. Even if it is a third level wolf, why should we be afraid of it? They quarreled again. Most of them did not want to surrender, but some believed in the words of the Snow Wolf King and chose to avoid the edge for the time being and wait until they were able to fight back. The Snow Wolf King looked at the quarreling wolves in front of him and became furious. He let out a deafening roar. The Snow Wolf King bared his teeth and slowly stepped forward, glaring at these leading wolves who challenged his position as Wolf King. Some of them were aggrieved by the proud wolf heads beneath them, while others were so frightened that they clamped their tails and trembled. My bottom line is limited. If you dare to challenge my majesty again, you will be responsible for the consequences. Seeing this scene, the Snow Wolf King became less angry. Wolf King, we are so angry that we have lost our minds. Please calm down. Although, I hate to say this, if you, the Wolf King, insist on surrendering to the alien race, then I will have no choice but to leave the wolf pack and find a place to survive elsewhere. Me too. I have a bad temper. Even if I die, I won't be able to stand this arrogance. They don't believe that an eagle can be such a big threat. They will never give in. Even if they die, they will fight to the death. The Snow Wolf King was silent for a long time. Have you really thought about it? I have thought about it, and I will never change it. Most of the leading wolves had the same idea. They themselves have absolute strength, and there are many snow wolves who support and are willing to lead with them. Because of this, they have the confidence to negotiate terms with the Snow Wolf King. Dispersion may be a good option. The Snow Wolf King felt very helpless in his heart. Perhaps only by experiencing the terrifying pressure personally can he understand the fear in his heart. However, he was unwilling to disband the wolf clan. After pondering for a long time, I have decided to fight to the death. If I can't defeat 1,000 people, I will fight with 2,000 or 3,000 until I defeat the opponent and kill him. After saying that, He looked up to the sky and roared, and the howl of the wolf echoed through the sky. The other leading wolves heard this and followed closely, howling like wolves. Continuous wolf howls sounded, and even the cubs waiting to be fed screamed in response to the wolves. After that, they began to formulate a plan, and the wolves worked together to face the moment that mattered, the life and death of the wolves. They did not run away. Instead of being embarrassed and running away, they would rather fight to the death. The wolves also have their own dignity, and it is absolutely impossible for them to surrender to other races. The territory of the wild bear. In a huge cave, there is a 20-meter long earth bear. It is fat and strong, with brown hair. A thick layer of stone armor grows on its shoulders, extending to its arms, covering it. Just like armor covering the arms, there is also stone armor on the back, which is extremely hard and domineering. At this time, it was mating with several female bears, panting continuously, accompanied by the sound of flesh colliding, and the roaring was strong and continuous. It took several hours to stop. The largest male bear, also known as the king bear, looked like he had just experienced a big battle. He was sitting on the stone wall, while the female bear was lying on the ground tiredly. Two of them were lying on the ground. On king bear's spacious and strong chest, he fell asleep from exhaustion. Only powerful male bears have mates. The bear king is the king of the wild bear group. Naturally, he needs as many mates as possible to produce powerful offspring and strengthen the group. Although the bear king has become a bit grumpy, his level has increased too much, and he is also hungry, and he will eat all the same kind. A powerful opponent and become the bear king. But he is still very conscientious and takes up the important task of growing the group. Almost all the female bears in the group have mated with him, and some have given birth to cubs, which are the first generation descendants of the bear king. It is not known what the other male bears would think. They might be envious, jealous, or too angry to speak out. Damn it, I'm hungry again. The bear king's stomach growled, he cursed, and got up to go to the reserve cave for dinner. The bear king controls the entire bear clan, and food is continuously delivered here and stored in a cave for the bear king to enjoy, including birds, animals, and marine life. These were all hunted down by his men. Bear king. The other wild bears who saw the bear king lowered their heads and started to tremble. They have an extremely strong fear of the bear king and obey his orders without daring to resist. Not to mention provoking the status of the bear king. It is obvious that the earth barbarian bear clan is more domineering than the snow wolf clan. The bear king didn't even look at them and headed straight towards the cave where the food was stored. After the bear king had gone far away, they dared to communicate. The king bear either eats or mates. Can his body handle it? Humph, I think it not only tolerates the food, but becomes more ferocious and strong. It dominates all the female bears. It also has a lot of spiritual stones. What about us? The spiritual stone resources are pitiful. We have to go out early and come back every day to bring food back for it to eat. One day it takes several meals. Who can bear it? The most important thing is that we don't even have a spouse, so we are so stupid. If we continue like this, we will never get ahead and will be enslaved to death. We must resist. Let's forget it. All the leaders in the clan combined are no match for the bear king. How can we fight? To challenge the bear king is tantamount to seeking death. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.